Hey everybody, Ken Plume here, and welcome to another edition of Just a Few Things, which is a show where I have a very special guest on, and we discuss 6 objects from their collections. It could be anything. It could be anything in their life that has special import, special meaning to them. There might be some honorable mentions. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But right now, my very special guest is a guest I've had on other shows prior to this, a wonderful guest. He is a Senior Design Director. Did I get that right?
You got that absolutely right. Well done. You didn't demote me or promote me, so okay.
I'm going to do one of those things. We'll see how this goes by the end. Steve Evans, welcome back to welcome to this show. This is your first time on this show.
It is. I think we have friends. I'm from the restaurant trade. My mum and dad are restaurateurs, and we call them the regulars. People that come in all the time are called regs. So I feel like I'm one of your regs. I think this is a third time I think we've chatted.
Yes, we did a Force 5, we did an open chat, and now
you have so many different slices to your pie. It is an honor to be on this one.
I wanted to expand it because Force 5 is, for those unfamiliar, it is a Star Wars collectibles-centric show. Open chat is just a conversation, general conversation. Sometimes while I'm opening toys in the background. A really great way to have a conversation. But this, Just a Few Things, was a way because I have so many people that I know that have wide and varied interests and collections and just things that are special to them, that it seemed like a good thing to open that up and have that ability to talk about things that are outside a very specific, narrow
I like that. How long did
focus.
you take to decide 6 things? I know how, we all know how sort of professional business discussions that you can get really tied up on the minutiae. Did you discuss with yourself, now should it be 5 and now
what it really came down to was deciding on a title for the show and how many titles of things have been taken. And so Force 5 was a thing. It pretty much says it's going to be 5 objects.
Yeah.
You also want a manageable number. And I went through so many iterations of a title and going, well, that's taken. Somebody's already using that. That's already out there. I have a long-time interview conversation show called A Bit of a Chat, which is nicely vague as far as where the topics of conversation can go to. So Just a Few Things seemed equally vague enough to accommodate. I could also change the number at any time. 6 just seemed like, who's doing 6?
There's no 6 in that. Okay, I don't think I've got OCD. I think we all have as collectors a little bit, but it's like, from a very young age, I took great interest in the words some, few, couple. Now, couple is 2, right? Few to me is 3. Some is 4. Many gets into 5. And I like these sort of words that describe the number of things. I always wanted to know, how many is a few? So anyway, clearly,
I was always confused by 3's company, which completely upset the 2's company, 3's a crowd. Common phrase.
Oh my God. Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. Damn it! Now I do. Now. And
that just breaks your brain when you go, wait, what? What is it? Oh, is that supposed to be a deeper meaning to what the show is about? That it's okay.
Because so these things keep me up at night. Clearly, but 6 is fine. 6 was difficult. I'm telling you, it was weird because when you described what it was, I was like, okay, all right. Well, that's going to be really difficult because I've got all this stuff behind me and it's all important to me. Because it's all my childhood, so but it was really easy to get to 6. It was really easy to pick the top priorities, and then when I couldn't stop at 6, I was like, well, now that's that, and that. Now I've missed that. Now I feel bad about that. So it was this weird dichotomy of really impossible but really easy. It was really easily impossible to do.
You have a finite number, so you do have a stopping point where you could say, well, I've picked my 6, and it's in the moment. I mean, anything as we've known for our collections over the years, it's very dynamic to where things come in and out of favor. You have focuses that you never thought would be a focus that suddenly comes in to the picture. Sure. I mean, for you, sort of your collecting evolution, is there anything that has surprised you that's sort of wow, that's suddenly a focus of mine? I really want to hunt these things down. I never thought I'd be hunting these things down.
I think so. I think that the basis of what you see behind me is essentially recollecting my childhood. The vast majority of it is old stuff, retro stuff, and finite stuff. I struggle personally with the idea of collecting something that is continual. I work on brands that are continuing. So it's I'm like the worst advocate for it in that way, because I find it a little stressful and a little bit daunting to collect something that I know I don't know when it's going to end. Whereas I can go and collect Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, and there's 8 of them. I know there are X number of
Tron figures.
Tron figures. Don't go there. Richard Scarry figures. So I like the little collections within collections because I can finish them, and then when I finish them I go yay, then I get depressed because I finished them and the joy's gone, so I have to find other ones. So I think the biggest surprise was that I came into collecting very much, well, I'm going to collect my childhood, and then I kind of got most of it, and then I've gone, well, I would have liked that as a kid, so I'm going to collect that as well. Like, I didn't collect.
I have a little bit more income now, and things are tremendously more expensive.
And I've picked up a few modern things. Like, I get Super 7's Richard Scarry figures, most of them. Not all of them. I'm not like completist. I'm not a completist in that sense. So I think I've been surprised in that way.
You say that, but you're getting there.
Like if they do Hucklecat in a different outfit, I'm like, no, I'm good. I got my Hucklecat representation. So
I'm going to bring this up because you have done. People should go check out your YouTube channel. You have your Tall Toy Tales. You have your regular lives that you've been doing, but you dove into some of the Richard Scarry toys. Brilliant. So, in an odd bit of serendipity, I was going through a box in the attic that I haven't seen in 30 years. And I found in that box.
What did you get done? Better not be the banana car.
No.
Okay.
I found my original childhood. There's that one.
Yes. Love that one.
And
that's the one. That is the one. That's a different color. Mine's a bluer color. Is yours blue or is it gray?
Mine is like a purple. It's like a lavender sort of.
Yeah, that was my favorite one.
But I wonder if that also might be edition number.
I didn't put that in my thing. See, now, why didn't I put a Richard Scarry book in my thing?
And in fact, one of these also has the dedication from my grandmother, who it was a gift from. So,
see, that's
so
nice.
Of all things to find when you did your spotlight videos on those.
Yeah. That artwork and just the concept of those books are just brilliant. And so that's an honorary mention. I haven't got one because they're all packed in there, but like Richard Scarry stuff is just...
But people can go watch your video and see your appreciation.
Go watch my video on Mr. Stevie's Tall Toy Tales.
See how it works? See the synergy that we have?
or at the Mr. Stevie 18 on YouTube, because someone's already got Stevie 18 on YouTube, which...
They'll change.
Mr. Stevie 18, which is annoying because he hasn't got any videos.
And I'm just there to squat. He knew you were coming.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's good. I'm glad you found it. That's good. That's what it's about. That's what all the video stuff is about. It's just sparking memories, or I don't know. It's for me. But
you also have a few collections that are finite, but there are pieces you just can't find.
Oh yeah,
or haven't acquired yet.
Yeah. Again, the other things that I could have picked out, like honorable, like Lord of the Rings, the Bakshi things. Like I love that movie, 1978. Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, super scary. The figures are ridiculously expensive to buy. I don't buy them carded. I want them loose, and they're really hard to find decent quality. Gandalf, you look at him and his paint flakes off. The Sam and Frodo's scabbards and little swords, little sting. No, it's Bilbo's, whatever it was. They come off. You can never find them. So I'm getting there, but it takes a while. But that's okay. I'm in it for the long haul, so I enjoy the hunt in that sense. That pleases me.
Are you disappointed when you complete a collection?
Yeah, I do. I am, and that is me, Jen. You can ask my wife and my kids. I get all excited about something, and then when I've got it or when it happens, I'm like, okay, done, bored, and it's sort of like I'm onto something else, and it's sort of like, I don't know. Am I used to being disappointed? That sounds awful. I'm never satisfied. Give it like that. It's weird. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist because I know perfection can't be attained. It's just impossible. So I've kind of come to terms with it. My God, it's deep already, Ken. I love talking to you. It gets very deep. So yeah, I finish a collection. I'm happy, but I'm very quickly depressed, and then I'm very quickly on to the next thing.
As far as your first big completed collection, was it the Star Wars figures, the original run?
Yeah. And I still don't have a vinyl Cape Joe. I have everything else loose, but I don't have a vinyl Cape Joe just because I don't trust it, and I'm not going to pay extra for graded. Just crazy.
So it would have to be a mint on card for you to fully trust.
Open it.
Do you know how many people you would make openly weep?
And I would. I would.
You absolutely would.
No, that's So I guess I count that as completed. I don't have all the variants and things like that, but but I completed that pretty quick. The story is an old story, as old as time, where it was. I had a lot of figures when I was a kid. I gave them to Andrew and Christopher, who were kids I babysat up the road. They did the invariable, buried them in the garden and melted them and all this kind of stuff, flushing down the toilet, as we all did. And then I was sort of got back into collecting with one of my things, which we'll get to whenever you're ready for me to go through. And I went to a boot sale, which is a flea market or a swap meet over here, and it was pouring down with rain. My friend who usually came with me didn't come. I went on my own. They let me in for free because there was like 5 cars there. Walked around, came to the last car, literally the last car. And I'm not kidding. And they had everything. But like a whole, they were called bread baskets. As I said, my dad was a restaurateur. So he used to have these bread baskets. And they were these plastic bread baskets that people deliver bread in. And they had about 4 or 5 of these. And they were full. Figures, ships, blasters, records, books, everything. And I got it for £5. I bought the whole lot for £5, got home, and there was a 5-gallon tub of ice cream. There's an ice cream tub, and it was full of figures. And I delved in and I pulled them out, and they were squeaky. They were still squeaking. They were like hardly played with. And I was like, oh my God, it's brother. Oh, wow. Then I got Luke, Stormtrooper Luke. Oh my goodness. And I pulled them all out. And then at the bottom were all the accessories and all the weapons.
So it's like they'd have been opened and just put right into the tub.
Yeah, even the comm for Cloud Car Pilot, Luke's Stormtrooper's helmet. So all the ones I have over there were all, apart from Blue Snag and Yak Face, which I did have to buy, all of them were from that ice cream tub on that.
And those were a little more expensive than the entirety of the rest of the figures.
Yeah, they were like, I paid $200 for 200 for Blue Snaggletooth and $90 for Yak Face back in like 1999.
Was this at the rise of eBay? Was the initial one?
No,
was that an eBay purchase?
No, it wasn't an eBay. It was on. We used to have back in those days. You didn't have in England certainly you didn't have comic conventions. You had they were usually in rooms above pubs. They had like down in Clacton on the East Coast, little seaside town. The White Hart would run a Star Wars collector toy club, and it would be upstairs. You'd go in and pay £1, and you'd go up in this tiny room, and there'd be people selling stuff. It was great.
Someone who grew up in Australia that came and brought their Yak Face with them.
Yeah. So anyway, that was answer your question. Yeah, my first one was Star Wars, and
now because those were so pristine, and that would be almost unthinkable to try and track down en masse like that, something so pristine. Did that sort of instill with you as far as a real focus on condition when it came to your collection?
Yeah, I realized and we'll talk about this later. I love the segues. It's just brilliant. The serendipity, as you put it, is like, so I am aware that I can have an addictive personality. My father was an alcoholic and was addicted to alcohol, which eventually killed him, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure, on a nice happy note. But I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I go in quick. I'm faddist. So I go in and I like something and I go really deep, really fast, and I'm all in, and then I'll pull out quite quickly. And I've conditioned myself to do that because I get a little bit worried that I don't want to be like my dad in that sense. There are lots of things that's for my father that I do want to be like, but that is not one of them. So I made my rule set for collecting quite early. And it was like, not carded because I can't afford it and I never will be able to afford it. And it will ruin me if I try and buy everything carded. And by doing that, I will be able to get loose. And I could buy loose, crappy, battered beaters till the end of time, but I'm not going to. I will collect loose, and I will collect as minty as I can find it because I know I won't be able to find it that quickly, and I know I won't be able to waste money buying loads and loads of stuff. This is 35 years of collecting, which is not a lot. I've seen people's collections. Your collection is probably far bigger than mine, but it is curated with that rule set. I will buy loose, I will buy mint, and I will buy complete. I've only broken that rule recently where I bought Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, Bakshi. It didn't come with his hat and his cane, which I've never done before. I have never bought something that didn't have everything with it because it's my rule set. But I bought it just because it was such a ridiculous price, so cheap and such good condition that I went, all right, I'm going to do this once. So hopefully I won't turn into a raging alcoholic and kill myself just because I bought the hat and the cane.
Slippery slope. So how many times have you passed up the near mint or the just almost there to where it would have met that criteria?
Every week on eBay.
Is there anything that is like, if I find it in any condition, it's so rare I have to get it?
No, I don't think there is. I got to turn around and look. No, I don't think you could. I don't think there's. I guess if you had a rocket firing Boba Fett, just because there's only 3 in the world or something, then yeah, maybe. But generally, no. You couldn't. You could show me something that was super.
I would love to see you be the one to pass up a rocket fired Boba Fett just because it's had a little nick, a little bit of paint off. I'll wait.
I need the ring wraith. I need the ring wraith. That's difficult to say. The ring wraith for Lord of the Rings, and that can get don't. You could say here's one with a knackered belt for $200, and I'd go, no, I'll wait until the belt's good.
What if it was a knackered belt for $50?
Then you might as well give it to me, and then I'd take it. Yeah, no.
Are there any grails in your collection that were gifts to you?
God, people don't gift me a lot. That's let me clarify that. I love my mother dearly, and she'll probably be eventually watching this because it's the only way she can hear her son speak, because I'm a terrible boy and I never ring her enough. Not that she minds, she's very good. But I remember from a relatively early age, from when I started collecting, 16, 17, 18, at Christmas, Mum and Dad would be like, what do you want for Christmas? And I'd be like, I'd like a Luke Skywalker, blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, we're not buying your toys. We're not buying your toys. And that used to really annoy me. So they very rarely bought me toys. Although my mum did buy me a little model set this Christmas, which was quite cool. She's softening in her old age. And so no, people don't often buy me toys because I'm so fussy and I want them loose. But people do give me things or present me things. And I'll do for example, can I do a almost top 6?
Let's do one that didn't quite make the list.
So, for example, I have this Superman Christopher Reeve figure. I'm glad that worked. It is a custom. It is made. It was art directed. Let's put it like that, because he used some other people who did some sculpting. Christopher King, my friend in England, Chris King. He knows how much I love Superman. He knows how much I love Christopher Reeve. He knows how frustrated I was from the age of 6 that I couldn't get Superman figures that would go with my Star Wars figures. So he makes this, and he sells them, I think. And but he gifted me this. So people gift me things, which I guess is answer to your question, but they're not. They're their own things. They're their own creations. So I get quite a lot of customs and little badges and things given to me just from fellow collectors that want to show some appreciation or a little bit of kudos or just want to be nice. I give things away. For example, I have a John Hammond custom Jurassic Park figure that I made, and the guy DM'd me on Instagram yesterday, and he said, where did you get that head that went with it? And I go, well, I made it myself. I used a Friar Tuck head. I cut off the back of it, made it a bit smaller, and added glasses on it, and then I cast it. And he was like, I don't know how to do that. And I said, look, I got it. I'll cast you one. So I cast him one. I send him that. And it's karma, right? Goes around. So he's happy, and I'll get something else from someone else. And the universe provides for those that are kind and thoughtful. That's what I think. I do believe in karma.
You sort of seeing the rise of that sort of crafting community. What has that been like over the years? Because even talking, the kind of displays that are being designed by folks like Lance and Luke, and
They're amazing. I mean, the whole sort of toy art culture scene. When I first started on Star Wars, when I joined in like 2014, I kind of stayed for 4 or 5 years, and I went away, came back. It was really the birth of toy photography. You had people like Jason Yang, who worked more or less, and folks like Sadork and people like that were just sort of starting to snap pictures of their toys, and then bringing it into Photoshop and doing added stuff. And it was like this sort of weird hobby. And then that hobby started to turn into an art form. And that art form for a few of them is now a career. Whether it's doing YouTube channels and having hundreds and thousands of followers and earning money that way, or they're being sponsored. I think, who is it? Is it Jax? I think Jax gets sponsored by like sports teams or sports to do event posters with things. And so it's like toy photography has become an art form now. It's become a profession, which
it's changed the marketing for you as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the fact how much packaging has changed and promotional materials have changed over the years.
I love that. And I want to do more with that. I was there at the beginning sort of promoting it, but like that, I want to do more there. So there's that. And there's obviously the customization, the custom crews, which, they used to kit bash, boil and pop, which is what I do. I kind of swap stuff over, and I dabble a little bit. I do a little bit of
you womble
casting.
it up.
I womble it up. I do.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at it, but I did it because it's learning, and it's learning at a table level versus the stuff that I'm leading is manufacturable and steel tools, and we're making tens of thousands of them. But I want to understand that, but I also want to understand the craft of the fundamentals of what's casting, what's molding, what are undercuts, why doesn't that work? Why does bubbles get in there? And how do you, so it's just, I love that. So that's been around for a long time. And now obviously with the onslaught of, grabbing Blender or a 3D program and sticking it out on a 3D printer and doing all that, that's changed and expanded. And I have the utmost respect for people that are kind of creating stuff. Sometimes they clearly encroach on IP, but that's just part of the parcel. I'd much rather people be interested in doing things with IP. I don't own the IPs, but it's all part of the community. I'd rather have people interested in the IPs that I'm connected with rather than not.
But also generally, even if people have a custom of a thing, if an official version eventually comes out, they generally will get that too as a collector. It's sort of like a stopgap to have that represented within their collection, not a way to sort of circumvent or undermine or undercut it. It's just that desire to have it as part of their collection.
Yeah, I think that sort of crafting community, it should be encouraged, and it's very inspirational when you look at stuff, some things that people are doing. I'm constantly looking and going, oh God, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that. So
you could people like Robo, who continues to make customs right before the official versions come out.
Yeah. And then I get told off for copying.
It's a superpower. He triggers official versions of things.
Yeah. So no, I just love the way it's just exploded. The whole community's just exploded, and it's weird because in some ways, some communities get smaller. They're defined by age groups and generations. I'm Gen X, so like that age group, we're getting on a bit now, and things naturally get smaller and dwindle away. Or people have a lot other things in their lives that they need to focus on. So like the idea of collecting can get smaller, but the actual, I don't know how to describe it, the disciplines within that community are getting bigger. Toy photography and collecting and curating going on,
and
YouTube
skill sharing.
But it's the people might be getting smaller, but the disciplines are getting broader and wider, which is great because in turn that'll attract new people to the community from different avenues. So it's I'm fascinated in the next 30 years what the toy collecting community looks like from a activity point of view. I think it's going to change. But the fundamental need for community and need for collecting or curating, I don't think will change. It's just different. It's just different.
Well, you've certainly thought about, because the one concern that I have overriding is sort of the shrinking fan pool. I think Gen X in particular has been very, perhaps overly protective about the hobby and the collecting and the focus on those things, specifically to their needs and their desires and their wants, rather than going, Yeah, but how does the next generation get access to these things? Because if you're pushing a line, let's say, into a hyper collection, a niche collector friendly line, that may completely price out a kid who just wants to get an action figure of a character they like. Yeah. And obviously, and then if that line sort of comes about, maybe there are people that are going, well, why does that exist? Why are you doing these toys that are just to play with? They don't look like the characters. They're not on model. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why does that have to fire a rocket? That makes its arm look weird.
I have noticed that. Yes, I have noticed that. And I work where I work because I believe in the lifelong love of toys or lifelong love of play, however you want to say it. It's like, because I've done that journey. I've been fortunate enough to be a kid, obviously, in a couple of decades where toys and action figures particularly were exploded. The 70s and 80s, I would suggest, probably the best periods of time for action figures and toys, and particularly the combination of IPs and stories and franchises and movies, the sort of Spielbergs and Lucases and all those type of things, and TV shows with toy lines, physical artifacts was clearly its heyday, I think, 70s and 80s.
And all about on-ramping. Like they wanted, what is the best way we can get this into your hands?
Yes.
We want you to love our toy line above all other toy lines.
Yeah.
How can we get you on here?
And it was for kids. And those kids grew up, and we played longer than most kids today do. They're very quickly into sports or video games and stuff like that. Our childhoods were longer. And then many of us, whether we stayed around in our teens or whether we came back, anyone that's watching this as a collector probably usually comes back around their teen times, or they don't lose the interest. And, it's easy to collect because they're artifacts. They're physical things that you can, that you can buy and display and remember with. And, I'm sure there is, the millennials that kind of go, well, actually, Turtles was better than that, and like Action Man, and like I'm waiting for Ben 10 to come back. I tell you, it's coming. Like I'm waiting for Ben 10. My kid is 22. He played Ben 10. I caught him yesterday upstairs sorting out his Beyblades and his old Lego stuff, getting his mini figures out, and So every generation has its thing. I think the Gen X has had it the purest or the easiest. I think it's the easiest. Action figure, movies. I remember them. I get them. I think this generation, sort of Gen A, Gen Z, Gen A's, it's different. It's more digital. It's Minecraft. It's kind of social media.
But how much of that is partially also just accessibility? I mean, with the disappearance of Toys R Us and dedicated toy stores, the shrinking of the toy aisles, where do they even have the ability? Where does a line have the ability to roll out to a kid audience? Like Ben 10 seems like that sort of last gasp of here's a major line with a lot of variance and a lot of accessibility to go in, and was geared towards play rather than, I use that phrase in your live stream the other day, the sort of totemic representation of an IP that you keep, like, here's a single display piece that represents this within my collection, as opposed to here's a box full of toys. They're like 57 different Ben 10s that are in here that are different versions, but that's a toy line. Like the Ninja Turtles, like the 2012 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Something that has like a deep bench, like the ability to do a deep bench of characters in an accessible toy line.
Yeah.
That isn't just, here's your single version of Ben 10, because that's the only one that we can get onto the shelves. Maybe it'll get another character. Maybe there'll be a character that it can fight. Who knows if that happens? That evaporation of that, which is, it seems more an industry issue of just a venues to put this thing out to get it in front of kids, more than kids not wanting to play.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's probably yes, all of the above. It's like just the way things are moving, technology. I think there are a lot of IPs and franchises that are coming out that it's a saturation. We're getting much quicker at getting Japanese and Chinese and Korean IPs that come in. There's much more of a migration of brands that come out quicker, and we get hold of them really quickly. So there's so much choice that I don't know whether I don't know what nostalgia looks like in 20 years for those kids. Because most people, when they hit their late 20s, is when they really hit like nostalgia, because I got disposable income. I can choose to relive my childhood. You start getting pangs of it in your early 20s, but like it's usually late 20s where you really have the ability to do it. But I don't know what that nostalgia is going to look like. It's like having photographs on your phone. Like when we were younger, it was, we had photo albums with like 50 photos in, and that's probably all you had for like your whole childhood.
And you really had to curate that because it cost to print those things. Or if you wanted a larger one to hang on the wall.
You curate it. I got 7,500 in that. That's probably not a lot. And it's like it desensitizes you. And it's like,
I mean, do you imagine the day when you just hand your kids, here's a USB stick with your your childhood on it?
But again, remember, that's alien to us, and we look upon it as, oh, those poor Generation A's and those Z's and A's, Z's and A's. Oh, not like old days. But we all know that our parents and their great parents and the silent generation, the great generation, all looked upon us and went, it's not the same. And they were in like world wars, so it's like
in our day, we went and listened to live music. What are these discs that they're listening to?
So it's all the same. It's just cyclical. It's always cyclical, and it's always, and whatever that generation will be when they're 30, they will look back upon this time and go, the good old days. Do you remember COVID? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I want to know when the bad old days.
We were making puzzles for days.
Yeah, I want to know when the good old days weren't good. There's got to be some time in medieval times where they look back and go, well, we were getting our heads chopped off and lopped off. And
is there going to be a thing like we're doing COVID hair? Everyone's letting their hair grow out like during lockdown. But
my girls look back at COVID fondly. They look back upon, like, there's this new trend, like just a couple of weeks ago, like 2016. Everyone's like, 2016 was peak. And I'm like, that's only 10 years ago. Why are you nostalgic for that?
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
What was different about yesterday?
Like, my girls are always talking about COVID because I used to have a little table down here when I only had 3 or 4 Detolfs, and they had like a little table. And they were talking about it the other day when they were back for holidays. They were like, I had COVID. I love that. So,
do you think that lockdown and that period accelerated your collection as well?
Yeah.
You talk about
yeah. All the gas money I saved.
And customizing. Like the idea of you diving into that and having the time at home to do that.
Yeah. It was weird because I keep using the word dichotomy. It's my favorite word. It makes me sound intelligent, I guess. But during COVID, I act an extrovert. I'm an actor. I go, yeah, but I'm very introverted. So like, we'll chat, Ken, whether it's an hour or two, but I'll go away and I'll have to like, oh my God, I have to decompress. I have to be alone. So I like being alone. I'm a only child. My parents were working in restaurants, as you know, and they were always off there doing stuff in the restaurant. We usually lived beside it or above it, and they would always go and work, and I would be on my own. I was 4 or 5. I have to put myself to bed, make my own dinner. My mum's watching this. She's going, God, this old sob story again. It was true though, Mum. You did. I am independent. So I'm quite independent, and I like to be alone. I enjoy my own company. Actually, my favorite state to be is alone in a crowd. Put me in an airport. I love it. I just sit in an airport on my own. No one knows me. I just watch everyone. It's brilliant. But COVID, I thought, this is going to be easy. Like, great. I love being on my own. This is cool. But I did miss it. It did get to me after a while. And I did get a little...
Because it was a balance? Because even if you had your time to decompress, you still would have that time where you had engagement.
Yes. So it was weird. And I was also going through a period where I just finished my first stint on Star Wars, and I'd got my dream job. So that was my dream job, right? Let's make that clear. Star Wars was my dream job. I love Marvel, but Star Wars is my dream job. And when I got that, actually, we'll put one up. Can we put one of these up? Because I got one. They're not necessarily in order, but anyway.
Here's the thing. I want you to build to your number one. Because I know, looking at these, you must have one that's going to be paramount the most in this moment. The one that's most special to you.
Okay.
Do you have the ability to hold that one back?
There is one. Okay.
Everyone I ask that question to has a moment where they go, no, there's not. And then they really look at their objects and go...
It's going to be the one that no one gives a crap about, but that's fine.
It doesn't matter. That's not what this conversation's about.
So let me talk to you about this. So I know it's not meant to be Star Wars, but it is a Star Wars. So I have a Han Solo. and it is a grey-haired Han Solo variant. So when this came out, without going into too much detail because I'll get in trouble, he had darker brown hair, and then they all were released like with brown hair. And then we said, you know what, we're going to make the hair a little bit tighter to the actual material, and we said we're going to do a grey-haired one. So we did what's called a running change. So you manufacture a load, and then during the manufacturing process, you switch out and you make a variant, or you make a correction. It's called a running change. You do the running change once within the production run. Now, we did the running change, but the production run had almost finished. Like really, like there's hardly any of these around because we made the change. And then once it's done, because we were making so many Black Series, like we never reissued them again. Actually, I think we did, but not in the blue and reds.
Archive.
The black, right? Yeah. So there weren't many of these around in this box, and I got one. It's not even a sample; it's an actual production one. But the important thing about this is that it's number 18. So the story behind the number 18, people who follow me on Instagram will know 18 is a special number. When I was about 2, and my mum asked me, how much do you love me? You know, you ask a kid, how much do you love me? They used to call me Tink because I used to be mad on Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. So they go, hey, Tink, how much do you love me? And 18 was the biggest number I could think of as a 2-year-old. So I'd go, 18. So this number 18 stuck with my family and has gone on to my wife and our kids. And so it's an Evans tradition that 18 is the number that you love someone the most. And so 18 was this. And the reason this is so special is because my dad, as I mentioned earlier, a wonderful guy, but he had an alcoholic problem. He had an alcohol problem. He was an alcoholic and used to drink a lot. And eventually it caught up with him. And he rang me at work one day. And this was before I got my Star Wars gig, and basically said, "Hey, Tink, got a bit of a problem. I've got cancer. I've got pancreatic cancer, and it's bile cancer. And it's everywhere." And he says, "I'm not going to make it. I've got like 3 weeks." So I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got 3 weeks." So I flew home and I saw him in the hospital, and he was fine. He was obviously a bit jaundiced, but he was his usual self, very teasy, very jokey, chatting up the nurses, all that kind of stuff. And it came to a point where I had to say goodbye to him, and I knew I'd never see him again. But it was weird because he wasn't dead. I just had to say bye-bye. And that was probably at that point in time was the most difficult thing I'd ever done in my life. I had to give my dad a kiss and say goodbye, and he said goodbye to me, and I walked out, and obviously floods of tears. And then I came home and I had to tell Sam, who's my eldest son, and he and his Gaga were like inseparable. And I had to tell him, he was 7, that his granddad, his Gaga was dying, and Sam didn't get it. 7-year-old. He was like, "What?" He's like, "In hospital, he'll be fine." So I had to be quite firm with him and say, no, Gaga's dying. You won't see him again. And of course he passed away and all that jazz. So the annoying thing was, because my dad was so annoying, he died before he knew I got my job. He knew it was my dream job. He knew it was the job I went to Hasbro to get in 1999. I went in 1999 as a packaging designer. And I bounced around between packaging and branding and app development and TV and movie curation and creative consulting. I just bounced around, trying new things out all the time and kind of building my career to get to the point where I could one day, someone could say, "Hey, there's a new Star Wars trilogy coming out. Why don't you lead the design team?" And I said to them when they gave me that option, I said, "I know nothing about plastic. I know nothing. I'm not a product designer." And they said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you understand story, you understand play, you understand brand, you understand packaging, you understand that the whole thing comes together. And I got that chance. And my dad never knew that I got it, which is upsetting. So when I look at this, I get emotional. When I look at this is my dad. So I keep this close.
And unopened is it important? And then that's
never be opened. This will never open.
Which is a big thing for you. I mean, to have that as an outlier.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know why. I think it's like this is my one little OCD nod to him. Like, because he had it as well. He had this addiction problem. And I'm like, all right, that's the one little addiction that I will do. I will not open it. It's kind of an anti-addiction if that works out. And it's like, I also do dry January. And I do dry January, I do dry February. I do it to my birthday, March the 2nd. His birthday is March the 4th. So I will not drink between New Year's Day and my birthday. And it's just to keep control. I think that's what collecting's about. Collecting is all about control. You choose what you collect. You choose how you collect. And it's a good exercise for me psychologically to keep myself in check. Because I will not go the way of my father. I will not. I love him. And that's his greatest gift, teaching me that. You teach the most with your failures.
So you can tell me if I noticed that there seemed to be, and you came into to reveal it when it came out, and you can tell me if I'm off base about making this connection. But you talk about the 18 and the significance of the 18. You seem to have a special resonance with the "I Love You 3000" Iron Man that was revealed.
Yeah.
Is there?
It's a little bit. It's not quite.
But that notion of having that
thing
connection.
Yeah, I think so. And like the "I Love You 3000" thing is
which is very similar to the.
It's a left field thing. It's an odd thing. It's not for everybody. I think what it's about.
Listen, I'm going to say for me, you don't have to say any of this. I'm going to say for me, the reaction to the novelty figures, I don't understand the negative reaction to it because it is such a fun niche thing for those who like it. That's not taking away anything from a line.
I know.
But I have friends who absolutely love the holiday figures. Like it's a fun thing, and they'll display them the entire year, or just have a thing to put out in the holidays.
Yeah,
and it's not a new thing. We can go back to the Hasbro holiday figures for Star Wars that were released 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And a great recurring line. That was a regular thing that people could have an experience and have fun with. No, it's just chill out, people. Relax.
I think "I Love You 3000" epitomizes or represents this idea of a family love tradition. I have 18. I'm sure everyone has other things, but I like, Tony Stark says, "I love you 3000." It's a connection between him and his daughter, and then he passes away. So there's obviously some emotional things there, but it's also, it's a phrase. It works with Iron Man. Iron Man has loads of different outfits and things. So there's story permissions in there. There's narrative permissions that make sense. That actually makes it probably one of the cleverest ones that I think we've thought about. And yeah, it's not for everybody, but I really, really love when families collect together. And if I can think of one person buying that for someone else within their family, either because they both collect or they buy for their significant other that doesn't collect, it's just like a little joke. I'm sorry for all the stuff I have to bring in and sneak in. And my wife doesn't give a rat's ass about these toys. She likes because it brings the money in for the family. But ultimately, I will give her that, and that'll be like, this is for you.
But she has her own collection or her own focus on things that
she collects shoes. But it's like this is a token of my love. Like in this community, I really do believe. Well, there's not love everywhere. There's passion, which sometimes doesn't feel like love, but it's important. So that's why I like it. So it's not a direct thing for me. Like "I Love You 3000" isn't my thing. But
I wasn't saying it's a direct thing. It it was enough of within that field of a fun representational,
and probably Dwight and Dan didn't want to get all emotional about it on screen, so I can't. So they just reel me in. They go you'll gush, you go. So
you'll bound in, and you'll bound out.
I tell you one thing, I am not shy with my emotions like that. That if you lot haven't realized that by now, then you don't know me at all. But no, I will talk very openly about my emotions because it's important.
Now you bring an energy into the presentations when you come in.
Thanks.
It's like seasoning. It's like there's a little bit of seasoning that's been added to the stream when you come in for a reveal. It's that little pow moment.
Thank you.
That was meant entirely as a compliment, entirely positive.
I know.
But no, there's those things. It's fun to have stuff like that in the line. To have a snowy Wookiee,
So if you're not trying stuff, you're not inventing. It's like I can give you. I don't know if as soon as I say this, everyone will be like, "Well, why don't you try this, this, and this?" It's like, yeah. Look, I know I can't win. I can't win. Like, and that's fine. I accept that. I can't win. I will never give you everything you want in the timely manner that you want it, exactly how you want it. I can't. It's impossible. And I challenge anybody to be in my position and do it. It's just impossible. There's no such thing as perfection. So we're going to try.
And it's hard to keep up with a group of folks talking for 7 hours on a stream about their.
Yeah, that's fine. And that's fine. Like it really doesn't bother me because it motivates me because I will bloody try. I will try to give you everything you want, and that's the best you're probably going to get.
Navigating,
and I give it openly and honestly, and I get paid to do this. It's crazy.
I mean, for anyone who I think it should be necessary required viewing for anyone who needs to understand some of the processes of you went into discussing the timeline from inception to store of what a toy goes through. And to know how much time there is where the folks don't even see what's going into this, and you're existing entirely in a vacuum, not knowing how anything will be received. Sometimes what'll come out the other end, because sometimes there might be a manufacturing issue that pops up, or something that found its way into the process that you're like, oh, or they'll change the concept art into the final version in a movie.
That's never happened. Yeah, and it's and I'm trying to give a little peek or it's not even a peek behind the scenes because it's I simplify something. I simplify them right down. As people have mentioned, I simplify right down. That's because I can't talk about how the sausage is made. I can't I work for the company. I can't give out things like that, but I try and share in simplest terms.
And universal terms, because you're not the only
and we're all different. Everybody does differently. Everyone's different. Everything's done differently. Well, the caveat everything I say, but it's just I'm just trying to get people to get a little bit of understanding of the thing that they love. They love these things. And I'm just trying to give a little bit of a overview of this is what goes into making them. And
the fact that you're holding a Superman figure that is 50 years nearly down the line from wanting something that represented with that sort of fidelity the Superman you saw on screen.
Yeah.
And you're holding that now 50 years later. I mean, it takes a while for some of these things to reach a point where it's the version you want to see. Yeah. And as you said, it's highly specific to the person, to the individual.
Yeah. So I try and explain things. And again, as I keep saying, remember, I said I started off in packaging, branding, app development, jack of all trades, master of some. You think I know as much as Dwight on how a figure is made? No way near. I'm nowhere near. Or Chris Rife or Eric or anyone no, they're the designers that do it. I don't make it.
Dwight just stopped writing an email to you.
Yeah, the analogy I have is I'm a conductor. And I'm going to blow my own trumpet a little bit just because I can. It's there's not many people that have done packaging, branding, app development, TV and movie creative, licensing, all this kind of stuff, and product design that can so I have this appreciation or interest or fascination about the whole picture. There are reasons why I do checklists and get involved in packaging and change things. It's because I'm interested. Because at the end of the day, I know that it's not all about the figure at the end of the day. It's the packaging, how it gets to you and how we engage with you. So I don't look at my job as I'm not a product designer. So I'm a conductor. I conduct, and I kind of tell everyone that I sort of give the tune, but I don't play an instrument. Dwight and Chris and Eric and all those people, they're the ones that play the instruments that make the thing. I just have.
But all those instruments ultimately have to blend together into a single piece.
Yeah, and that's where
And you need someone who has that overview, who has that ability to look around and go, okay, well, we need the oboes up a little bit, or in that tempo over in percussion needs to pick up a little bit in this section.
So that's where I think I add value. So when I do these sort of descriptions and things like that, I simplify them down because I have simplify them down for myself, and just there's certain things I can say and certain things I can't say, and that's fine. So anyway, there we are. So I don't know everything.
Well, I mean,
do not claim to.
Well, I mean, when you talk about sort of achieving your dream job with the Star Wars license and being at that place where you worked all that time to get to, what was the process like then? When now you're going to be on Marvel, and you don't have sort of as deep a knowledge base of that going into it.
Yeah.
And you're diving into a thing now where early in your career, it's like, oh, fine, I'm getting assigned to this license and this license, whatever. It's a process. I'm building up, but I haven't gotten the golden ring of the thing I really wanted. But now you're moved off the thing you really wanted to a thing that you now have to dive in and learn about. Was that a difficult process for you, or was there an enthusiasm to like, okay, well, this is fresh and new, and now I get to explore this that I don't know a lot about?
It was easy because, one, I didn't have to know everything. I don't know I think it's like 8,000 Marvel characters, probably more than that now. I never claimed and I never needed to know everything because I'm surrounded by a team that know a lot. Like, everyone knows Dwight, encyclopedic knowledge of Marvel. Everyone knows Jesse Falcon at Marvel, same thing. There are people that we don't see within the team that are very private, and they have even more knowledge, and that's combination. They just go. Like, my job for them is just to kick down doors and put out fires around them to enable them to do what they do. And I will occasionally jump in and sort of make suggestions or challenge or critique something, when not usually in terms of the knowledge of Marvel lore, but just in terms of, well, how does that engage? How does that react with another product, or how does that look? So it was easy because I think by that time I was 47 or something. I've been doing Marvel 5 years or so. And I started to grow up. I'd started to learn that, like, Steve, you don't have to be the hero. Like, you're the conductor. You don't do the solo. You don't do the guitar solo. You don't even play a bloody instrument. You don't even play the cymbal at the back.
And you're never going to win.
You're the conductor with your back to the audience. Although you say that, and I'm never going to win. So I just kind of like, I reached a point where it's just like, no, your job is not to do things. It's to get things done. And that is the job of a leader in my mind, certainly at the stage I'm at. And I'm still low level, but it's like realizing that if you can just protect people and give them encouragement and permission to go and do stuff, they'll go and do it. And I don't have to do it. So actually the Marvel thing was pretty easy. And I've learned on the job, and I occasionally surprised Dwight with my knowledge of things. And I knew what Marvel was. I used to collect the comics back in like early 90s. I was a big fan of like Jim Lee, X-Men and X-Factor, and Jim Valentino's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I used to collect that. People used to mock me for collecting that comic run, but I used to love that. So I know enough. But
is there any character that you encountered that you just latched onto and became a fast favorite of yours unexpectedly? Because you are going into that, as you said, like, you had knowledge of generalities and specific comics that you liked when you were younger, but I'm sure you were surprised all the time by certain characters that would pop up.
So here's a weird one. So there is a weird one. Here's one that I didn't really know. Well, I knew existed, but I had never had any affinity for because I was in England. Captain America. Like, when they announced that Captain America in the first Avenger, I was like, Captain America. That's a bit specific. How is that going to be broad? But the way they developed it in terms of this, it is American, but it's this broad kind of Boy Scout. And there are Boy Scouts in every nation. It's this sort of innocent, wanting to do well.
Representing the ideal.
Yeah, I love Captain America. And it's weird because I like the Boy Scouts. When I was a kid, I liked Luke instead of Han. Han was cool, but I somehow wanted to be Luke, and like Captain America. Like, I like Captain America versus Iron Man. I like Superman versus Batman. I like Cyclops instead of Wolverine. The other ones are cooler.
And yet you have this chaos agent of Peter Pan as an outlier.
But I don't know. I like to do the right thing.
Maybe that speaks to your sort of boundless energy. That's the Peter Pan energy. But then you got to go back and be Captain America and just be alone with yourself. And
I like to do the right thing, and I try to. And I know it's annoying sometimes, like all this sort of like, hey, people
are going to find things to be annoyed about anything.
Right. It can get annoying. I know I can get annoying.
It could be the opposite. Like, why isn't he have energy? Why isn't he bouncing around?
That's the problem. I'm either on or off. Like, because I'm that extrovert introvert thing. Like, if I'm in meetings, I'm all like, yeah. But you'll often find me just like and people are like, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It's just, I can't, I'm trying, I'm either a 10 or a 1. I'm trying to kind of be a consistent 8. That's what I want to be. It's hard. But yeah. So, and what else can I tell you?
I think we should go to, maybe we want to do another object. Maybe that'll
let's do another object. So let's, well, this is weird now because it's all right. So we'll do.
And you know, you're going to guide the story. This is going to be your narrative. So we're building to your number 1, but this is going to be, this is when your storytelling is going to come in.
Well, it's shot because the sort of flow of the narrative has gone because I'm now going to go back.
And now you're problem solving.
This book. So I have a couple of. So I've got the from concept to screen to collectibles. I love Steve Son's suite, but Steve, this is the worst named book in the world. It's so hard to say. Star Wars from concept to screen to collectible. So this book came out in like the early 90s, and it was the book that got me into collecting. It was the book that reignited the nostalgia. I'd played with Star Wars figures. I'd gone off them. I'd given them away. I was skateboarding and playing basketball and chatting up girls, and I was living my best life. I had this really cool Saturday job where I worked in like this really designery boutique where I could get like Hugo Boss and all the designer labels for like 75% off. And I had all cool stuff. I was all cool. And I was like,
those photos have to be incredible. Yeah, are there any photos that exist from that period?
Not many because we didn't have these blooming things around. So as I said, so I was like, I wouldn't say I was cool, but like I was enjoying my teenage life. And then I don't know how I stumbled across this book. I don't know where it was.
It was Chronicle Books is the publisher, right?
Yeah. I don't know where I found it though, but I remember looking through it and going, oh yeah, I used to collect Star Wars figures. I remember these. And I started going, oh yeah. Oh. And then when you get to the middle page, you see that and you go, oh yeah, I remember. And I started salivating. And then I turned the next page, and this is the page that did it for me. So, and I told Steve, I met Steve. I only met Steve.
Steve Sansweet.
Steve Sansweet. I met him for the first time, which is incredible, last year at San Diego Comic-Con. And I went up to him, and it was I was really emotional. And I said, Steve, I just wanted to let you know, like, we've never met. I'm Steve, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, no, I know who you are, which I was like, that was like, oh my God, thank you. And I just thanked him for this book. And he's such a lovely guy. He's annoyingly lovely. He's such a nice guy. He knew all about me, and like we chatted for ages, and I just thanked him. But it was this page. It was that page there. There was an image of Yak Face. And I can remember vividly. I remember looking at it and going, what the hell's that? That wasn't a Star Wars figure. That's not on that page.
Never saw that on the back of a card.
That's BS. What's this? And I was like, so I started reading. And then I started discovering that there was this subculture out there in little rooms above pubs that were advertising in little magazines. And I started going to a couple of them. And me and my friend Simon, we started talking about Star Wars, and he was into it. And we started discovering this culture, and we started collecting, picking a few things up. And it was discovering Yak Face. And I didn't put Yak Face in this because I wanted the book. So, and this book is signed by Mark Boudreau as well. So like when I worked with Mark, when I joined the team in 2014, Mark Boudreau, if you guys don't know him, that he was a designer on Star Wars, on all the Star Wars movies from Kenner through 76, 77, all the way up until he retired a few years ago. And then he passed away, sadly, a couple of years ago now. When I joined the team in 2014, he was on it. And like, I knew who Mark Boudreau was. Like, I knew who he was. He like designed the Millennium Falcon. He'd done all this stuff. He invented the troop transporter. He invented mini rigs. And I had to sit down with him and be his boss. I was his boss. So I had to sit down with him, and he was a cantankerous little sod. And he was just like, who are you? And I was like, oh, I'm the packaging guy that did some app development and branding and TV and movie and all this sort of stuff. And he was like, but you're not a product guy, are you? And I was like, no, I'm not. But I tell you, I am a Star Wars guy, and I'm a play guy, and I'm a brand guy, and I'm a storytelling guy. And we sat and we designed the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon. And we knew our constraints, we knew the price points, we knew it was a new year era, and we had all these old Falcons, and we sat and we played with them. And we tried to work out what did we want to do that was new for this new generation for the price point they were aiming for. And we picked things up and we added a Nerf blaster and all the things that everyone hates, but the kids freaking loved them. And we had to make sure the buttons were on the side, and we played. And at the end of it, I'm sure I'm embellishing this a little bit just to make the story, but at the end of it, it was like a movie. You know, when the movies they go, "You're all right, you are." He was like, I get it. I get why you're here. I get it. And then ever since then, he was like, I was his Energizer Bunny. He used to call me Energizer Bunny. And we had a great relationship. And he was very complimentary to me in private about things. And when he retired, I got him to sign that. Did he sign it on? Oh, no, to 2020. Yeah, he signed it in 2017. So I was still on the brand. But so anyway, knowing that Steve Sansweet, that's the book, and it's signed by Mark, who gave me some great stories and great inspiration. That's definitely my top 6 of things. So I judge the top 6 of things. If all this burnt down, what would I be most upset about? That's how I look at it. Because I told people, so I'm rambling, I know. I told people.
This is the conversation.
I know. I tell people in some sadistic way, I wouldn't mind if everything burnt down. I wouldn't mind if I lost all this because I could collect it again. That's you know what I mean? When I get depressed when I get something. But there are some things like this and this, these 2 things, I will kill you to keep these. Like if someone came, I would you're not taking this box away from me. You're not taking this book away from me.
You can take the rest, but
there's a few other bits, but it's like they're the things I will defend. So anyway, so there's the book.
I mean, I think one of the greatest innovations on a toy has to be just memory from childhood, and that sense memory is having that handle on the Millennium Falcon. The original Millennium Falcon.
Break a wrist, though. I did tell Mark off for that. I said to him, it's so funny because when we were doing the thing, I was holding it like that, and he was like, "Should we put the trigger underneath?" I was like, "Mark," I said, "I don't know if you obviously weren't a kid in those days because that used to break my wrist. I got a little thin wrist, but that was hard." I said, "No, kids hold it like that. Like no one holds it like that. Kids hold it like that." I said, "So all the buttons have to be there, like a Nintendo."
No, but every kid was excited to try and hold it like that.
I was bust my wrist. I told them off for that.
It was an ergonomic thing. Maybe it just needed to be more like a.
Never.
So when are you going to fly out with the book to Rancho Obi-Wan and get Steve to sign it?
There are opportunities coming up where I think I will. He said, obviously, come on any time. But I haven't been. I've never been to the ranch either. I've never been to Skywalker Ranch. When I joined it, George had already kind of signed off the thing, and there's been some occasions where there have been opportunities, but I haven't. I've never seen John Williams play either. Like I was at Celebration when he did an impromptu concert. I can't remember which year it was, 17 probably. And I was doing something else, and then people came back and went, "Oh man, there was John Williams just did a concert," and that's like one of my bucket lists to listen to him conduct. We talk about conductors like that. So he's old, like he's really old now. I saw him a couple weeks or so ago, and he looks so frail. Like I know when people pass away, and I clearly touch wood, he's going to be around for a while. But like, I think that's going to be the first famous person that I don't know that's actually going to have an impact on me, because like he easily is the soundtrack to my life. And if I should have put soundtracks. Should have put soundtracks as one of the things. So like, it is an honorary one. It is like.
Then which one are you choosing as your honorary?
Oh, the best of John Williams. No,
no.
It's
of course you can choose the best.
Binary Sunset. That Force theme, but then equally
where does the Superman theme?
But that's the beauty of it. Like that, I don't know how that man does it. I really don't know.
Have you assembled for yourself a John Williams playlist in your own chosen order? Like
no.
Have you curated a playthrough?
No, because I can't.
Or you just random shuffle? Just.
It's
have you ever sat around with all your D-tops behind you and wanting to rearrange, and you just crank up John Williams?
Oh, all the time. Just as I came onto you, I had him playing. It wasn't Empire. It was Phantom Menace. I had Phantom Menace on, and the guy, I don't know, because you can hear a John Williams tune a mile away, like it's him. But it's also different, and I've never met anyone that can construct a theme like John Williams. I think, and I told him this before, and I always get his surname wrong. Michael Giacchino. He pronounces different to everyone else. I've told him, and he's actually.
I think that's part of the game he plays.
Yeah. He, for me, is the next Williams. My Williams. I've told him. I said, "You're not number one. You're number two." Because the way he constructs themes.
There's nothing he loves to hear more.
Sorry, Michael.
You're great. You're not that great.
But I will be deeply upset when John Williams eventually passes away. That will be a big one. That will hit me hard. It will, because I think
all those names read of Williams and Lucas and Spielberg, like when that sort of those icons of the creative space, that guided so much sort of starts. And
something about John Williams, Johnny, something about that. I don't know.
To know you're never going to get another theme.
Oh, he's doing Spielberg's Alien thing, isn't he? His new. He's conducting that or composing that. But anyway, how do we get onto that? I don't know. But anyway, it says honorary mention of the things John Williams, although I don't have CDs anymore. it's all on digital.
I think do you have albums in your collection? Do you collect any vinyl of
Well, there was one vinyl one. I'll come back. This one was an almost ran. Someone sent me. I had this when I was a kid, and someone said, as a kid, I used to open that and look at that, and just want to be that, because it was almost poster size. And someone from come closer, Dave and Hux, I think that's Alex. Someone again gift me, yeah. So someone sent me this, and it wanted to send you a little something, show you appreciation for what you do, blah 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 blah. It's just lovely. So that was almost in there, but it was almost a little bit too.
But this is why we have the conversation.
Yeah,
that we get to mention that.
Yeah.
Are there any other albums in that regard that you would want to have, just as a representation?
I've got one of those, and I've got somewhere, and I can't find it. I've got Danny Elfman Batman '89 score, which I bought sealed, which I love. I love that. That was when I was 16 as well. So that was on the cusp of when I was cool and used to wear Boston Versace and all this kind of stuff. I was also listening. I used to go home and listen to Batman, Danny Elfman. I used to sit on my roof. So my bedroom was up, and I had a roof going down.
You lived in a garret. You were an artist living in a garret.
I jumped out. I used to jump out the roof and jump down and go off and see my girlfriend. Sorry, Mum, I never told you, because I could get back, climb up onto the roof and back into my window the next morning before my mum could find me.
She's learning so much.
So I used to sit there and listen to Batman in the dark and just brood and think, teenage angst and just. So I like that album.
I think we all had that touchstone song that would represent.
Yeah, I wanted to be mean. I didn't want to be Superman. I wanted to be Batman. Yeah. But then I was always like, well, I am Superman. I'm not really Batman, but it was good to pretend.
For 15 minutes a day, I'm Batman.
Yeah, I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
So now I think we're to your third object.
Yes,
your chosen selected ones.
The next one is a weird one. And again, it's not a thing. Well, it is a thing. It's all things. It's another Star Warsy thing. I will get off Star Wars eventually, but this is. Remember, I told you I was. Remember, I got that whole load of stuff,
right?
For
from the boot sale,
for £5. Well, the vast majority of that got me through university. So I set up a little business called Mos Eisley Imports. This actually doesn't say Mos Eisley Imports. No, I set up a little buy and sell business when I was at university in Brighton. So Brighton is on the south coast of England, And outside of London at that time, it was a pretty good art school. It wasn't Central St. Martin's, which is like the Yale of British art schools, but it was.
So you don't need to bring this rivalry into this.
It was Cornell. It was Cornell, or it was UPenn, or something like that, where it's like, yeah, okay, cool. And it was a mecca for collectibles and antiques. They had, get this, 1992. They had 2 Star Wars shops. 2 Star Wars shops. They sold Star Wars stuff.
Was one like, was there like a breakup that happened? Were they originally partners in one Star Wars shop?
One of them, I did almost get my legs broken by this guy. Anyway, I'll tell you the story. So I had this little business, Mos Eisley Imports, and I advertised in Model and Collectors Mart. And this and this goes together. So like, this is my last, my only kind of, what do you call these things? Business cards. So I had them laminated, and it says where I am in Toronto Terrace. And then if I can't be found at my Brighton homestead, I may be in the hands of the Empire. And it gave my address in Colchester, which is where I lived when I was at home for the summer. So I've got
and this is 92.
This is 1992.
So this is a brief sidetrack on this. I'm really curious.
Yeah.
That card.
Yeah.
Tell me about the design and execution process, because we're talking about a entirely different era of design and printing.
Yeah, this was go to the computer room at Brighton University, for which it was equipped with, I think we had 3 Apple Classic 2s or whatever, or not Quadra 900s, 8200s, Apple 8200. I think we had 3 of these things. And actually, they could have been 6400s, whatever. They were like, they were okay, but there was 3. You had to book them out like weeks in advance. I went in and I obviously scanned. I don't remember scanning because it was Photoshop 2, Photoshop 3 in those days.
Yeah, you're not just looking on the web for, I want to add it. Yeah, for an image.
Web.
Yeah.
I didn't have web until 96. I didn't have access to the internet. So and I printed those out. And then I got a laminator and laminated them, cut them out and laminated them. So yeah, that was.
Do you think there are people still in the wild just happen to have one of those stuck in something?
I don't know.
Maybe on your Instagram, maybe you should share.
Yeah,
and say
that's one. And then I found this. I advertised in Model and Collectors Mart, and I have been looking for, because I don't know which ones they were. I don't know which editions I advertised in, right? So like I got this about 2 years ago. Number one, going on eBay and searching Model and Collectors Mart, 1990s. Oh, this is 1994 actually, so I was a few years in. It was like, you never see Model and Collectors Mart. Like you don't find it. And then to find one where I was like, I think I remember that cover. I think it was around the right time, 94. It might have been, I was at Toronto Terrace. So I bought it not knowing if it was the one. And it was the one. It was the one with my advert in. And it says, where is it? Star Wars figures loose, because I bought them from a boot sale, plus Power of the Force, last 17, best value for money anywhere. So for your premium quality figures, send stamped addressed envelope to Mos Eisley Imports, 19 Toronto Terrace, Brighton, Sussex, BN2, blah, blah, blah. I won't say the rest in case someone sends something to it. See you at Docking Bay 94. And that was it. So in those days,
such a nerd listing.
People
and the fact that you also specified Power of the Force as being a different line.
Yes. Well, that bucket had everything. So,
but was that based on the knowledge coming out of that Steve Sansweet book?
Yes.
Of like, I have to specify there's this, and then the Power of the Force line.
Yeah. So I had this, and people used to send in stamped addressed envelope. I would send them my printout of my lists. They would then ring me up and say, "Do you still have the Luke Skywalker with the yellow hair?" And I'd look and I'd go, "Yes, I still have the Luke with the yellow hair. Oh, I'd like to buy that, please. £4. Yes. Please make the check payable to Steve and Evans." They'd send me a check. I would then take the check to the bank, put the check in the bank, wait for the bank check to clear.
Make sure it cleared.
Then I would, I actually wouldn't call them back. Then I would package it up and send it to them. So this whole interaction took about 2 months. It took so long. And I was doing that. And I was selling it cheap because I bought them so cheap. That $5 thing was just, it had so much. And so the person who had one of the shops in Brighton, I don't think he's alive. I think he passed away. People know him. I think his name was Andy. I want to say Andy, but I don't know. He passed away. I think he fell downstairs and killed himself, unfortunately. But he took umbrage to me doing this so cheap, and he rang me up. I remember it vividly. And I thought it was something. He goes, "Oh, is it Mos Eisley Import? Is that Steve?" And I'm like, "Yeah, hi, how you doing?" He goes, I won't use the language. But he was like, "If you keep selling your stuff so cheap, I'm going to come around and break your leg. I know where you live now because you're at 19. And they like threatened me. And I was like, "Look, man," I'm like, I'm not trying to do that.
This is why the two partners broke up into the separate shops.
Maybe. So anyway.
Do either of those shops in any form still exist? Is there still a Star Wars shop?
I think his one still is there. It's down in the lanes. There's an underground market in the lanes in Brighton, which it was the place. I still think that's there. I think so. There's two Star Wars shops, and there was a comic shop.
I mean, it sounds like a pilgrimage that needs to happen at some point.
I went to Brighton in 2005 for my brother-in-law's stag do. Bachelor party, and it's gone downhill. Brighton I don't know what it looks like now, but like 15 years ago, 20 years ago when I went back, it was, but good memories. I loved Brighton. It was fun. It was super fun. So that's my other book. That's the last of my books now of things to show. So that's
I'm sure there's plenty of honorable mentions that would have been in there. But is there any other book that provided that much information to you that was that as the Chronicles?
No. No, I mean, I got loads of books from Tomarts and Figure Digest and all that kind of stuff, but it was that one. And it didn't, no, it was this one. It was Steve's one. It's not information, it was just the inspiration to get into what I do. So and I will be forever grateful for that.
I think we're going to go to your fourth object then.
What am I doing now?
We're getting down.
We are. Here's the next thing. I've just realised that a lot of mine are connected with morbidity. Here's my next one.
Is this a deeper thing that we're going to have to talk about?
It is. Well, again, these are things that are really important to me and mean so much to me. So this is I'll actually get him out. I don't often get him out. This is a figure of, you would imagine, Peter Quill straight away, Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord. But it actually is... Oh, no, come over let's get you in focus. So you might recognize that isn't Star-Lord. That is somebody that nobody recognizes. So this is based on my friend Richard Elkington, or Elkie as I used to call him. And he was my first sort of proper friend, like long-term friend. I mentioned my parents were restaurateurs, so we move around a lot. In my life, I've lived in 18 homes and went to 12 schools. So I was like a bit of a gypsy. So I used to go around, and I was always a new kid at school, and it was always midterm or mid-semester, and I was so vividly, the teacher would walk me and go, "This is Stephen, everybody, be nice to him." I was always the guy that joined not at the beginning. So I think that's where I learned my hey. So I did have to lark around. But so I moved around a lot. So I didn't have many friends. And my mum said to my dad when I was about 11, she said, "We've got to stay where we are. Like, Stephen has to make friends. You keep moving him every 6 months. Like, it's not fair." So we stayed in this one place, and I met Richard, and I met him on my bike, and I was biking around my estate, and he was biking. And you know how kids make friends? They come up and he goes, "All right?" I'm like, yeah, all right. He goes, do you like football? Soccer, proper football. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, "Who do you support?" I go, "Oh, Ipswich Town." He goes, "Oh, I support Ipswich Town too." I was like, "Oh, great. Do you want to be mates?" "Yeah, okay." And that was it. And we just went off and rode our bikes and all that stuff. So he was my friend. We were best friends for a long time. And then here comes the morbidity, the morbid side. He passed away. He died. It was just one day, like in 2000. It was the day after Box. It's December 27th, 2019. 19? Yes, 2019. I got a call from my other friend and said, "Richard's died." I'm like, "What?" He's like, Rich, he's just died. Elky's dead. And he just had this heart condition that was, that just meant he had like a heart of like an 85-year-old. He'd already had it and they didn't know anything about it, never been diagnosed. In England, you don't go and have preventative annual checkups. It doesn't exist. You don't do that for some stupid reason. And he just passed away. He just got married. His wife, Nikki, who's wonderful, she just got over breast cancer. And then he died. And so we all went back and like Nikki was distraught and we went back for the funeral and I had, because Nikki and Elky's favorite movie was Guardians of the Galaxy, and his song was Mr. Blue Sky. That was their song. They had it at their wedding, and they loved it. And so I asked the team at Hasbro. I said, I want to make two. I want to make one for me and one for Nikki, just to remind them of Elky. And they just did a little portrait, sculpted it, printed it, painted it. So I've got one, and Nikki's got. Not the sister, the brother of it. Same thing. And that's very precious because that just, out of all my life, I haven't had many friends. And I've got, my best friend now is Simon, which the three of us. It's like me, Rich and Simon. So like that, I'll kill you for that. Like you're not taking that. So,
was it his comic books that are also in your collection?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got good memory. Yeah. Yeah. We went to, literally just before COVID hit, we went and we buried him. And I remember the story. I'll tell you. Nikki won't mind me telling this. He's a big boy. Like he was, I'm 6'3". I think he was 6'5" or so, 6'4", 6'5", but he was a bit beefier. And we're all the friends were there. There was pallbearers, so there were 6 of us with his coffin. And they weren't very religious, so we didn't have the funeral at a church. We had it at this, it was a mill. It was like an old mill, beautiful place. And we got there, and it was our role to carry him into the place in his coffin. And it was upstairs. This place was upstairs. So we were all a bit nervous, and we're obviously sad and devastated, and we're sliding him out of the hearse. And they're like, right, you have to get him up. And we're like, are we getting on our shoulders? And they go, well, no, actually, because you've got to get upstairs first. So it was flat. Then there was stairs, steep stairs, and then directly into the room where everyone was waiting and crying. And, he was like, he was 40 something. So he says, you have to, I'm going to have to do this. You have to hold him like that and shuffle. And then when you get to the stairs, the ones at the top have got to bring your arms up a bit, but don't bring them up. So we started going upstairs. And I think I don't know whether it was me or whether it was Paul. One of us started laughing. So it's like, because it's just ridiculous. We're trying to carry our mate up the stairs. And Richard was such a fun guy and he used to laugh. He used to laugh like a girl. He used to squeal like a little pig when he laughed. And we started laughing. And we're shaking, laughing, trying to carry our mate up the stairs in his funeral. And we're going, don't drop him. Don't drop, because he's heavy. He was so heavy. We were pissing ourselves laughing, tears coming down our eyes. And we had to walk into the room with our dead friend in a box, pissing ourselves laughing. And everyone
doing a shuffle
just laughed. It just broke completely. And clearly it's very sad, but we had that day. I told the story of how we met on the bikes. I told the story how I kissed him accidentally when we were playing American football because we were into Chicago Bears. And it was just brilliant. It was just the best day, one of the best days of our lives, because it was so sad, but it was just, he would have freaking well loved it. So anyway, I got a figure of him. I don't have many sort of custom figures, but that is one I have for Rich.
So what were the comic books?
The comic. Yeah, sorry, I go off on tangents.
No.
He gave me, let me get these. So he gave me a few. So I went, and they're not expensive.
I'm just curious if there's any characters that you wound up working on with the license.
No, after this, I went and saw Nikki and we chatted, and she said, I'd like you to have some of his comics. Just pick some. So I just picked a few. And they were ones, because we used to collect the comics together. Remember I said that in early 90s, I used to do X-Men. So just comics. Just picked out some old X-Men that I recognized from his collection. Some New Mutants. Turok. We were big into, like, we went to Valiant.
Everyone did at that time.
Yeah, I got a signed Jim Lee gold one. That's probably the most expensive one. The Deadpool. He loved Deadpool. So, like, when Deadpool came out, I got one of those, and the old chromium covers, the old holograms. And then I also have, this wasn't from him, but, like, I have all the original X-Men cards. I have them all. So I used to collect those as well. So we were big into X-Men back in early 90s. I've got what else? Yeah, I can't get it. There's some Spider-Man ones. So I took about 10. She gave me 10. So they're pretty valuable to me as well. But it's the figure that it sits just there, so I can always look at it. So yeah, I've got my dad next to my mate.
So I mean, that's also, talking about your displays and your heavily curated collection, and you do spend a lot of time on your displays, and I'll have a lot of concern for that. But I think a lot of us have your display behind you or around you, but you also have your sort of what's in front of you, and you choose what are the things that are going to be that you're looking at constantly. There's the things that are behind you that are just you know they're there, but then you have the things that you keep close.
Yeah, I have a little desk over there with mostly sort of custom stuff, but there is some special stuff on there. But or this, I use this a lot. I'm not using it today, but I'll often put something there. Like I'll grab, I don't know, what's in front of me. Weird stuff's in front of me. I got a lot of Pop Mart stuff in front of me at the moment because I'm just kind of interested in that. So I'm kind of playing around with that. That's my number one thing, which I won't put there.
Do you have a criteria of things that are like desk worthy or
when I'm working on something, when I'm interested in something, if I'm thinking about stuff or I'm looking at, like I'm starting 28 stuff, so I'll put stuff there. Doesn't mean I'm doing a Pop Mart thing, by the way, or I'm not doing a TED 2 crossover. But I just like.
But do you curate also, because you have your home desk, but you also have your work desk? Like, what is your work desk curation? Do you have it?
Work desk curation is usually stuff that I am interested in, that I've worked up at. I'm trying not to say too much. Worked up at work, like models and things. So because I don't make stuff, I don't design the stuff, but what I do is I'll go away and just have a think about something based on insight or something someone said or something I see on TV or in another industry. That's the biggest thing of inspiration. And I'll just go and work with the model shop or work with someone outside, just have it made and just have it on my desk. And I like to leave things on my desk because people come in and they look at things and they go, what's that? And then I look at it and we talk about it and I can just gauge people's interest. If something is sticky to people that come into my office, then I know there's something there. And then I might go and take it and research it with fans or kids or whoever. But yeah, so my desk is full of weird stuff.
Is there anything sentimental that you carried from work desk to work desk?
No.
Does that kind of thing exist?
Yeah, there is one. Yeah, there is. I have this I'm pretty sentimental about, which is, again, ridiculous. I can't even remember what the guy's name is. I have this little thing here. I can't remember the character's name. You probably know. But it's magnetic. So it bounces. I don't know if you can see that properly.
Yeah. So it's just balance between two magnets on either pole?
Yeah.
On either end?
Magnet on the base of this and a magnet on here. So it just, gravity pulls it down, but it pushes it up. And this was the first thing I bought with my company credit card back in like 2000. So like I was given a company credit card because I was trustworthy and I could buy just stuff to research. And I saw this and I was just like, that's a really interesting mechanism. I was working on Action Man at that time, doing the packaging and sort of branding. And I used to sit in amongst all the product designers. So I came back in, I was like, hey guys, what do you think of this? And they're like, oh, that's cool. It feels really nice. Just like a little encapsulated magnet thing.
Well, the fact that it fits perfectly within that space.
Yeah, it just feels lovely. So that's pretty special to me.
So knowing that is essentially just a magnet on either side and then opposing magnets at its base and probably, I would assume, in its head because it's got to bounce both ways.
No, gravity pulls it down. It doesn't need...
Yeah, but it doesn't make contact with the top.
No, it doesn't. That's because No, I don't think it's got one in its head. I think
if you turned it upside down, would it repel?
I don't think I ever have done that. Oh yeah, no, it hits. It hits.
Okay.
Yeah, it hits. So it's just on the bottom. It relies on, like, I can make it hit.
Well, now I'm wondering. Well, I guess it would just stay stationary if you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like that.
Okay, so custom. What character would you put in if you were to recreate that? Because it's just magnets in a tube. Is there a figurine that you would put in it?
I'd have I Love You 3000 Iron Man in there, just hovering with his blasters, with his heart blasters, just shake me and love me, just like that. I don't know. That's what I put in there. But yeah, so that I got a lot of little bits and pieces that I've had.
I want to see that custom now. You have to realize that when you get your production samples in, I want you to create.
What? Like, I've got the tube. I can just take this tube. Yeah. That's where ideas come from. Like, just look at something and go, what if you did that with that? Or mix that with this? Or why does that? And so that's there.
Do you have a thing in the back of your head that you've wanted to do that just maybe manufacturing or what it would take to do with an idea, plaything that you
I'm not going to tell you.
You're not going to tell you, but you have, but something came to mind.
Oh, yes. There is something I have been experimenting with for many years that I haven't quite cracked yet, but we will one day. The technology will catch up. It's almost there.
Because you talked about one of the things we talked about in the past, as far as a realization of like a childhood. Boy, I'd love to have that. Was the Wilhelm scream in the
so I haven't got that.
The Stormtrooper,
the Interactech, yeah.
So, are there other ones that have been realized that were like one of those? I really want to solve that and get that into play. So, with the ones we can talk about, along those lines, for any line that you worked on.
I think I worked a lot on Real Webs, which was a Spider-Man kind of technology where it's like it mixes two liquids together to create this like gel kind of spider web. I enjoyed doing that. That was fun because I like.
Were those in the hand canisters, the wrist canisters?
No, it's. I don't think do I have one? I don't think I have one here. No, it's not the silly string one. It get like a little pouch and it has two liquids, and when you fire it, it mixes the liquids together, and they instantly turn into like a gel, like a
web shooter.
Yeah, theoretically, it's called Real Web. I mean, so that was, and we had lots of other ideas for webs. So I like that. I've always wanted to kind of have kids do real spider webs that aren't silly string and aren't water. So that was fun. I enjoy doing that. I like doing the stuff that is difficult. Because as I said, I'm not a product designer. So like to do the stuff that's regular, it doesn't interest me because I like to do the stuff that no one else knows how to do. Let's put it like that. It makes me feel better. So I'm like, let's create a real something or this, or let's do this. And people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that because you don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it either. So together, let's go and find it. Whereas if I'm not interested in the things that can be done, I'm interested in things that can't be done.
I mean, is there a concern in approaching these things? Because one thing, I look at it with that difference between and that gulf between toy and collectible. When a toy becomes a collectible and stops being a toy and just stops being fun. Like there's a novelty. A lot of things, like again, representational, sitting on my desk, posed, look great, and I enjoy them. I enjoy having those things, those representations there. That Stormtrooper, when you first told me about it, and it had passed me by when it was released, that was fun. The notion of it instantly was fun. Having a toy that has a Wilhelm scream and the actual Wilhelm scream in it, that is a fun thing of any age to have that. And just, I'm just going to drop it on its head just to hear that Wilhelm scream. Things like that. And is it difficult to find ways, because of the way the markets are now, to work those aspects into?
I think it is. I think the Interactech Trooper does it perfectly, where it's like it's a simple figure. There's low articulation. Kids can throw it around. You can go choo 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 choo, I know I won't get it because he's going to make it.
You're not going to don't topple.
But I think the fact that it's a stormtrooper and has that little Easter egg of like it's a Wilhelm scream, and any collector knows what any Star Wars fan knows what the Wilhelm scream is, and so that kind of bridges that toy to collector nod. It's like a Boba nod. It's like, I get it. Yeah, like that. That's cool. So that works. I think, I've done things, when we did Rogue One, the AT, we did the remote control AT-AT. I think that was pretty cool. It's expensive, but that was another Mark Boudreau meeting where we sat at a table and I said, hey, when do we make it walk, Mark? And he was like, what? He's like, it won't walk. The legs are too long and thin, and it's not, physics doesn't work like that. And I was like, yeah, but it would be cool if we could make it walk. So we worked it out, or he and the engineering group did. So that's one where it's like a toy, but for a collector, it's like, that's kind of cool. But yeah, the collectors, they don't want to like I was coming to that because it's like it fired Nerf darts, and like the U-wing fired Nerf darts, which I know the fans like, or the collectors are like, I want a U-wing without Nerf darts, and I'm like, well, there's one with Nerf darts because I'm doing it for
Here's
kids.
3,000 words on why that upsets the design.
Yeah. So it is hard, and you get little things that work sometimes, and I'm just trying to think like, the barge, for example, like that's probably my number 2. Like if you want to, how many have I got? 2 more left?
You got 2 more left.
Yeah. So the barge is definitely there, and I'm not going to pick that up and bring it because it's too heavy. So, working on the barge is probably the greatest achievement of my career, I think, so far. I'm trying to top it because HasAbs didn't exist, and it was like we're never going to get a large ship made. It'll never go to retail. It'll sit on the shelf. It's going to be a huge box. It's going to be $500. It's going to go to clearance, and we're not going to make any money. We'll never do a large ship ever again. How do we get around that? How do we beat the impossible, where people are going, they'll never do a barge. It's impossible. Never. And then we thought, we'll crowdfund it. And like we went, and they were, why do you want to crowdfund? We're a company. What? And it's like, well, it helps you with the tooling. It helps you with risk aversion. And it kind of, you wait until people get enough, and it's blah, 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 blah. And we did it. So there's like 2 halves, like getting HasAb off the ground was like one big achievement. And then actually doing the barge, and then actually revealing it at Toy Fair in 2018. So it would have been, what's that? It's 8 years ago, almost to the day, in a couple of weeks, eight years ago. And having grown men, looking at you, Chris Swansky, running to me, crying, and like hugging me and saying, "Oh my! I never thought this would happen." And then in the design, because Mark Boudreau designed it, Mark's like, I don't know I only know where Jabba's dais is. I don't know what everything else looks like. And I was like, well, what do we need in a ship? He goes, well, we need a cockpit. I said, well, invent a cockpit. And he's like, well, Jabba has all this food. Let's make a kitchen. Let's do a galley. I was like, great. Jail. We've got to have a jail. He's always like, let's put like a skeleton in there. Who should we put in there? Like, let's put a Thorian. Maybe it's Hammerhead. Or like, so it's just, there's so much storytelling in that. And then we do things where we'll put a little trapdoor. There's a little trapdoor. You just press a button on the side and it just falls down. Like, displayable playability. It's just these little reminders of why we love this. Because if that was a kid thing, it would have Nerf darts in and it'd fire things, and you would turn the turret and it would fold away and do all this stuff. But like, it's not that. But there is still opportunity to put a little bit of
It's displayability with the P capitalized.
Yes, and it just adds a little. Just reminds you why you love all this, because. We love all this not because we played with figures and kept them all pristine. Some of you may have done, and that's totally fine. Most of us buried them, burnt them, blew them up with bangers, put them on zip strings down and lost them in the snow, flushed them down the toilet. Like, we played with them because that's why we love them, and that's why they resonate with us, and that's why we want them again, because to be fair, a lot of us have now grown up and the world is boring and the world is frightening and it is stressful. And no one allows you to burn your figures and bury them in the garden or flush them down the toilet anymore, because you're looked at as being weird and like, well, grow up. And it's like, why? Why do I have to grow up?
Or they're so
why
expensive.
Why are we to play? It's just... boring.
Because we're also in that now sort of ecosystem where things just cost more. They're not as disposable in that way anymore for that generation.
I know, but it's just a sense of play. I feel genuinely sad for people that don't play anymore, that don't have an outlet to play, that are just captured in this grown-up world. I don't know.
I want to see that I Love You 2000 hover Iron Man in its little tube.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky.
With its magnets.
I don't know.
It would take a heart of ice for people to not have fun with a little hover.
So the barge is most definitely like I'd kill someone for that. Like, and it's signed as well. So all the teams sign it. All the team that worked on it signed it. And on the other side, towards the wall, because I have to choose one side, I can't do it both ways. I took it to Red 5 Toys and Collectibles shop, everyone understands, store up in Western Mass, and people came along and saw it, and I just had collectors that just turn up to sign it, just because I want to. Half of them I don't know, some of them I do, some of them become friends with, but like that's whenever I take that around, I like people just to sign it. People hide things inside, so they open it up and someone's put a signature underneath the dais, or they hide it under flaps and things. I love it, and people are like, "Why are you getting that signed? You're crazy!" And I'm like, "It's not about the money for that." Oh my God.
Well, I'm going to put it out again for the folks who missed it. Fingers crossed one day we'll see the barge again.
Who knows?
Because it pains me so much to know at this moment that there's no way reasonably to get that for, and that's
a lot.
Throwing it out. Throwing it out there I understand people's notion of investment in a thing and what it takes to get it, but also for such a fun, joyful, joyous object to have.
And it's weird because I'll probably get beaten up for this. It's not that interesting to look at. It's like from a ship point of view, but it's a good displayable. It's a play ship. I call them play ships. It's like you can take. I leave mine on because I got it signed, but like you can take all that off and have your figures in there. It's perfect.
Like the cantina
for shelf. Yeah, but even better. This is probably the best one because it's just boom. And it's that you don't have to sort of bastardize what it looks like. You take the sides off, put everyone on it. It fits on the shelf. It's not too deep.
And it's because of the storytelling aspect of it, you can load that up like the cantina with a weird collection of characters from across anything you want to put in there.
Yeah.
Like I look forward to the day on the cantina. I'm going to put like a Jack Black Minecraft figure in there. I'm going to put the Ian Malcolm figure. Everything can go in that. Because it is a weird collection.
Everyone goes
of
there.
Anything you want to put. It's the Cheers. Cheers.
So my barge is up there too. So I've got my Greyhead Han. I got Elky 1, 2. I got my books 3, 4. Got my barge. Honorable mention Superman. I got one more honorable mention before we get into the last one, which is going to be the least impressive, I guarantee you. But this one's an unusual one. It's a packet of E.T. biscuits or cookies. They are cola cream cookies. So you used to have like an orange outer and then cola cream. I ate this. I bit this. I'm not doing it again. So like this is 1982.
Well, they've been open since you opened them to try it.
I bought. So I used to buy these in 1982. So I was 9 years old. It was when my mum used to let me run up to the store at the end of the street when I used to live in a place called Thorpley Soken, and I used to have my pocket money, and I used to buy a pack of these, and I used to buy an ET sketchbook. I used to sketch on ET sketchbooks. And
do you still have any of them?
Not the sketchbook. No, a lot of the sketches. No.
Any of them?
No, I have.
Have you rebought the sketchbooks?
No, I haven't found the sketchbook. I've got the pencils and the rulers and the other ET memorabilia. I got a little square there. I used to love ET, but this is the one I looked for years. And of course, you don't find biscuits or cookies often. And so I found this probably about 5-6 years ago. And but just I'm like a magpie. It's like anything shiny is like, ooh. Now, this is open. It's looking a bit deteriorated. I've actually bought another one. I found one, I bought one yesterday. And my wife won't listen to this. I bought one yesterday for $180. Sealed. And it's just like,
that's more than a yak face.
No deterioration. So I can actually pull these biscuits. Once I get my new one, I'll leave that one sealed, and I'll get the cookie. There's a whole cookie in there that isn't broken. Yeah, it's a chocolate one. I'll get that out and display it.
So can you preserve it by removing the biscuits and get a 3D modeler to create fake versions of those biscuits to slide back in?
It won't be the same. Say no to repro. That's what I say. What I will probably do is what they do with sourdough. I'll clean it, brush it all up,
right,
and I'll encase it in like a food varnish, and then have one that will seal. Yeah, these one I don't mind them. If I've got a full packet, they'll never open, and I've got an open one that I can pull it out and kind of seal it. I don't mind if these ones rot, but it seems that's 44 years old, and it's doing pretty well.
You're so close to taking another bite.
No, I won't do it. I almost threw up. If you want to see me take a bite, go and watch season 1 of Mr. Stevie's Tall Toy Tales on YouTube. I think it's episode 1. I actually eat one of these.
So,
but that's a special one.
But there are also a few things in your collection that you've been hunting down that are food related. Is it a Shreddies box that you're still looking for? What's the Superman one that you haven't been able
Shreddies.
to?
So I love my cereal mascots. I particularly love the American cereal mascots, even though I didn't grow up with them. Although when I came over to America in 1983, I was 10.
You love a Toucan Sam.
I love Toucan. Fruit Loops. Oh my God. Like I can smell fruit. So 1983. As I said, stories always come around today. My mum and dad, restaurateurs, right? They used to buy, sell. We never went on holiday, like ever. Like my dad was always working. And then one year in 1983, he said, we're going to America. And I was like, whoa, 10 years old, never been on holiday before. No. So we're going to America. He'd sold a restaurant and had some money. He was like, we're going to America. We're going for 3 weeks. I was like, whoa, we're going to Disneyland. Was it Disneyland or was it Florida? No, it's Florida. Disney World. So we went to Universal Studios, went all over the place. But the thing I remember the most, apart from getting... Get it? Without knocking everything down. Apart from buying my E.T. game, 1983, was the cereal aisle. Was going down the cereal aisle. In England, you went down the cereal aisle, and the most exciting cereal you could get was Frosties, Frosted Flakes, Tony the Tiger. But they were still yellow with a little bit of frosting on. But like over here, it was like, what the hell? The Count Chocula? It's got marshmallows in. Frankenberry, it's a strawberry one. And like all
There's a
these
frog with a baseball cap? What is
characters? And Fruit Loops was my favorite. And ever since I went there, every year, my friends in America would send me at Christmas 1 box of Fruit Loops. They would send it over to England. And I always remember every Christmas, we'd open it up, I'd open it and just, the smell of Fruit Loops is better than the taste. But the smell of Fruit Loops, God, I had that. They used to they sent me a box probably until I left home. Probably like 15 years every year I'd get Fruit Loops.
Do you still have a bowl of Fruit Loops at Christmas?
Okay, no, I occasionally do.
You just take a half of a bag on Christmas.
Yeah, I prefer the smell, to be honest with you. So I have a Fruit Loops box that was released the month I went to America in 1983, March 1983. I hunted one down very specifically. I want a Fruit Loops box from 1983 with the date stamp March, and I got that because I went in March. It was the time of the Oscars, and I remember 10 years old. We were in this apartment in Florida Keys. We went down. We traveled from Tampa. We went Clearwater. And where did we go? It was like Orlando, Clearwater, right. Tampa, Orlando, down to the Keys, and I watched the Oscars. And I was furious. that E.T. did not win Best Picture. Bloody Gandhi won Best Picture. And I was like, what was this guy with sandals? Who's this like bald guy with glasses? What? That's not a movie. How did E.T.? As a 10-year-old, I was angry. I was really angry that E.T. didn't win the best Oscar. I was just livid.
We didn't know it was continuing Spielberg's losing streak to that point.
Yeah, it was just... So anyway, yeah, I love Serial Mascot.
Was there any pack-in that box? Did you get toy? Did you get a toy in the box?
I don't think there was. Oh yeah, free inside. Oh, there was a sundial. Rangefinder sundial.
So you need to get the rangefinder sundial that was in that box. You need to get the rangefinder sundial.
Maybe I will. I don't know. But the Shreddies one is the other one. So Shreddies, we had those. We had Shreddies in England, and they had all the little transfer sets and things. I used to have the Star Wars one and stuff. But there was this Superman 2 one. What was Superman 2? 1981? Is that right? 81?
That sounds right.
79 is 2. Yeah, it was the Battle of Metropolis. It has to be that exact bag. I'm getting good exercise today. I've got one of the transfer sets from it, but I need the box. I need the box and I need the rest of the transfers. And I had one on eBay. There was one on eBay. It was $150 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and I didn't win it. And I've never seen one since.
So that's in somebody's collection still.
Yeah, that's a grail.
Presumably.
That's a big grail, that one. And I will get it eventually. But yeah, so I like...
Until then, you'll get that sundial that goes in your Fruit Loops box.
I don't remember the sundial. Yeah.
I mean, you clearly would have opened that box in the US and taken that sundial right out.
I guess I would have done, yeah. I think I was just too...
And that was when they were loose. They were just thrown in a box. They had to dig around.
I remember when they shifted from being in the actual food stuff to the outside of the pack. They did that, and I was like... I remember being cross. I got cross a lot when I was like 10. I remember like, why have they moved it from the inside? Because I like digging down and finding it, and it comes out eventually. And now it's between the outer box and the outer packet. I can just get it straight away. What's the fun in that? I just remember being really cross.
Yeah. About that. Upset, and then the shape of the box never goes back to normal.
Yeah. It's like, stick it in the food. It's all right. I turned out all right. Shreddies I'll get. Shreddies I will get. But there's something special about... I like the Shreddies box as well, that blue. That's so blue. And it's different over here. I think it's yellow, isn't it? Shreddies, typically? Do you have yes. Shreddies over here?
Yes.
Yeah, in England it was blue. It was this bright blue. So,
but it's shredded wheat. We don't get Shreddies. Sounds much more fun.
Yeah, I had shredded wheat as well. I'm sure you had Shreddies. There was Weetabix, which is a big thing in England. I don't think you get that over here. I can get it in like Shaw's, but it's like $8 a box. Weetabix, shredded wheat, and then Shreddies. Different. But anyway.
I do not recall Shreddies at all as a kid. I don't think it made it as a brand over here.
Yeah, I'm positive. I'm going to have to look up now.
Now you are.
I'm sure it was yellow. Yeah.
I remember shredded wheat being yellow.
I mean, that's a modern one. Yeah, shredded wheat was yellow. But Shreddies, I'll look up vintage, sorry. Vintage shredded wheat. Vintage Shreddies. It's like dead air. Come on.
See, this is what always happens with collectors when they get into a rabbit hole of...
Yeah. No,
now imagine this conversation before the internet.
Maybe there are.
Yeah, I don't
there's lots of blue ones, but they've got some yellow ones. They're old ones from like the 70s and 80s. Anyway, my ones were blue. Always blue.
But now you have... So as far as the... And I know that Peter Pan, you've dived into the collecting on that as well.
God. See, it's impossible to get 6. Yeah, Peter Pan. I love my Peter Pan collection. It's getting there now. Again, my rule set, it's got to be Disney Peter Pan, 1953.
Do you have any grails on the Peter Pan stuff, or is
I just got one. There's this special one. I can't remember the name of the series. It's like this sort of deluxe one where he's like an 8-inch doll articulated, which I have, but he's done in this really beautiful soft goods. They're all stitched. It's beautifully stitched. And it comes in a set with Captain Hook, and that goes for like $250, $300. And I never see them loose ever. But I found one, Peter Pan, and it was like $40 or something. I got it for $40. So I've got that coming. So that one I've been chasing for a while. But my biggest one is the Infinity. I'll get it. It's an honorable mention. Yeah. It's an honorable mention.
Listen, it's you don't talk about your Peter Pan stuff enough, but it'll come up and occasionally in your Instagram where you'll find something that
I'll do a whole Peter Pan episode.
So that was from the now canceled Disney
Infinity 3, yeah. So like it's one of the best. I'll be honest, most Peter Pan likenesses are terrible. Terrible. He has a very specific look that for me that has to, and this is the nearest to it in terms of like spirit and proportions and things.
And it's dynamic. They actually pull off that pose.
And I used to love the Crow, and I think he's actually doing the Echo thing with "Let her go, Mr. Smee," rather than the Crow. But that is the nearest I can get to the feeling of Peter Pan as a kid. I've got some books that do that. Where is that? Where's my Peter Pan book? Have I got it here? Yes. So I had the little golden book, Peter Pan. This I had. This. Yeah, my God. It just gets me. I just remember it. I love Peter Pan. So, so I have my Infinity. That's going up in price. I saw that online. That's sort of rocketing up. But
have more appeared in the wild? Because that made it too. Because that's a production piece, right?
I think they did. I don't think they work. I can't quite get the story straight. I think they're not samples. I think they're like production first shots where they're like. It might just be the mold, but not the working part. I may be wrong. I don't know enough about. I haven't researched enough about it, but I don't.
Or think that was the part of the production process that produced the figures, and then
I don't think they hit stores.
Electronic would have been.
I've never seen them in pack ever. I don't think they were released. I think these were test pieces or internal stuff. I don't know, but they go. I mean, they're not crazy money. I mean, 300 400. Some people are asking 600. Not for us crazy collectors. But.
Do you have an ideal that you haven't gotten yet? Like when you talk about the things that and the lines that you love, and there's unrealized things, or like you're talking about that Peter Pan. Like this captures a Peter Pan how I would want him to look.
Yeah, I was hopeful that my friends over at Super 7, when they did the Ultimates, they were doing all the Disney Ultimates. I was waiting for them to get to Peter Pan. I was waiting. Like I want the toy box version, which is the sort of similar styling to the Infinity look. It's not quite the same. It's not quite as good, in my opinion. But no, I have not yet got an articulated Peter Pan that is just like that I want. I obviously want Wombles. I want articulated Womble figures. I want articulated Mr. Men figures. I want a wider range of Asterix figures. I'm a big Asterix fan, which is very European. So, like, here's some So there was an Asterix. I think this is Asterix and the Olympic Games. They did a movie with Gérard Depardieu, but for some reason they issued comic
versions of them.
But they also mixed in some more film versions with it. It looked really weird. But like Obelix and Asterix, Getafix, and the two Romans, the fat Roman and the skinny Roman, just like wonderful. Like I love these. They're so on model. But it's like I want vital statistics. I want all the Gauls. I want all the Rome. I want Cleopatra. I want them all. Like I'm
looking over at an Asterix keychain that I picked up at the Tintin shop in London.
I love Asterix. So I'd love a...
Was Tintin ever on your radar?
A little bit. I used to read it a little bit.
But clearly not as fun as Asterix.
No, Asterix.
We'll have to agree, it's not.
And so I have all the Asterix books up until I think edition omnibus, not omnibus, what they call them, editions. I guess 31. I think 30. There's some more. I have all the Goscinny and Underzo ones, and then they both died, so I don't collect them after that. But like that was at my nanny and granddad's. She bought me Asterix and the Big Fight. we went down to the bookshop. I remember going down. I want to say 7, and she bought me one, and I read it. And so every time I go to my nanny and granddad's house, we'd go down to the bookshop and get another Asterix books. It was £4.50, which was quite a lot back then. £4.50 or £1.50? Hold the phone. I will tell you. Oh no, 80p.
Oh, jeez.
80p. Maybe I think they went up to £1.50. They're about the price of a Star Wars figure in those days, I think. So
how many objects survive from childhood? How many are you still your childhood objects?
Perfect segue, because I know we've been doing this 2 hours, so anyone that's going to watch this is going to be like, come on. And I got to stop my dinner. So that is the perfect
Again, shout
segue.
out to your mother for making it this far.
I have only one thing in my collection that is actually mine from when I was a kid.
And is that your number one object?
That's my number one item. So
it's almost like we planned this, and we absolutely did not.
You've done this before, Ken. Look at you. Again, parents, restaurateurs, moving, 12 houses, 18 houses, 12 schools, 2 haunted houses. We moved around a lot, so my stuff would just disappear.
You can't just throw out 2 haunted houses as an aside.
Oh, so when I was very young, a baby young, we lived in the apartment above my grandfather's pharmacy. My grandfather was a pharmacist, invented his own medicine called Entropec, which is like a stomach thing. In those days, he used to make his medicine in his garage. He had a laboratory in his garage. He would make it and sell it at his pharmacy down the road. Like, can you imagine that working now with the FDA and all that kind of stuff? So
I want to see this recipe now. Did you have a copy of the recipe?
I don't know, probably. There's probably a bottle somewhere at Mum's house. Mum, you got any Entropec? If you have, let me know. We were in this apartment, and by all accounts, there was the spirit of this baby that was murdered. So my mum and dad used to hear me cry, go into my room, and I wasn't crying. And they could hear this baby crying, but it was above shops. So there was no other living. We were just above, we were in a room because we didn't have anywhere to live for a while. So it was all like a row of shops. No one lived there. There's this stupid baby crying. And my granddad eventually told them, yeah, supposedly there was something murdered, little thing. So that was one horrible thing. And then the other one, when I lived in Thorpley Soken, I lived at a place, a restaurant that was, I want to say it was like 15th century. It was so old. It was so like really, really old. And so by all accounts, there was this poltergeist there of this elderly lady that she wasn't malevolent, but she would organize things. She'd like things in order. And I don't know whether you believe in spirits or anything like that. I do. I don't know what they are, whether they're magnetic remnants of things that have happened. I don't know. But by all accounts, there was this lady, and she'd often touch the shoulders of people in the restaurant and things like that. It was known. It was known within the town that this place was haunted. I didn't know.
Like a tiny ghost.
I was 8 to 10, so I lived there for a couple of years. That was actually quite a long time. And anyway, I used to do all this stuff. So when I was young, I didn't know anything about it. I do remember one night being in bed, and suddenly my cards came off my shelf. Now, this house, old hundreds and hundreds of years old house, all the walls are all bone, and I didn't think much of it. And I had a very, really long room, a bit like this room, very, very long. And I woke up in the morning, and I went to get my cars, because I was sort of half aware that they'd fallen off in the middle of the night. And they were all lined up along the back wall, in a very specific order, just along the back wall. And I said to my mum, I said, "Mummy, did you move my cars?" And she said, "What are we talking about now?" So that was the first time, looking back, that I realized that something was weird. And then I went away for summer camp, and I came back, and my mum and dad said, "We're moving, Stephen. We're moving again." And it was like, I was upset because I'd started to make some friends there. Started making friends. And so the way to make me feel better about leaving my friends, was to tell me 1 month before we moved that the place was haunted. So you can imagine 10-year-old Stevie, I was 10 and a half, just after we got back from Florida, I think, going to bed in a place that I'd just been told was haunted. I remember every night going to bed, pulling it over my covers over my, just terrified and sweating and hot. I just remember it now. And it was Yeah, it was
as
awful.
a ghost is rearranging your Hot Wheels.
And then, so what we did, we moved out. My dad bought some other restaurants. He kept this one. He kind of renovated where we lived into more dining areas and things like that. So I eventually, when I was older, about 17, I came back and worked for my dad there. I washed up in the kitchen, and weird things would happen, like doilies. Do you know what they're? Little doilies, little sort of the white, they would move or be placed somewhere. Like Dad would say, "Where'd you move that?" And I'd be the only one there because I'd wash up at late, and my dad was finishing up. And he'd say, "Why'd you move that?" I haven't touched it. And they would be over. They'd be arranged somewhere. So anyway, that was the thing. So like, yeah, 2 haunted houses. But everything behind me is all kind of rebought, which I like because it's the hunt and it's the discovery and it's seeing it again, which is really nice. But there is one thing, and I've got it here, which is the only thing that I've got that is mine. And I've shown it before.
Now, is this because as you moved, you lost things, or did you have a purge at a certain age where you're like, I'm just getting rid of all my toys?
Yeah, like, we haven't got much room. Let's get rid of them. We'll give them away. Or we used to give them away a lot. And things like that, because I had a decent amount. Looking back, I had a decent amount of toys. I was an only child, and a lot of people go, "Oh yeah, spoiled. Must have been spoiled." And I was like, "No, I don't think I was. I was left alone a lot, but maybe there was compensation there with some toys and things." And so, Mum, you tell me, were you overcompensating with toys? But anyway, the last thing I want to show you, and it is the thing that I would. Yeah, I don't know who I'd kill for this, but it's like nothing. No one will recognize it. No one will even. They'll go, huh? So it's my little blue dog. I have a little blue dog. I was given this in 1975. We lived in Canada for a while. My dad worked for Hilton, I believe, out in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and we moved out here for a couple of years. So my first accent was Canadian, little kind of cheeky Canadian accent. And there's a picture of me. I don't have it. I assume my mum does. And I had a red stocking, Father Christmas Santa stocking, and it was full of farmyard animals. And I remember looking at them all, but for some reason, I think it's because there are no such thing as blue dogs, that this was the thing that I always kept. I always had it. I always kept it. It was always my blue dog. I had my blue dog. And I've had this ever since for how old am I now? For 51 years, in a couple of weeks, 51 years. And you'll notice that it hasn't got a tail. And that is because I used to love sitting there and just gently biting its tail like a pen. I do that. I still do. I'm constantly got stuff in my mouth. But the good news is that I still have the tail. I still have this tail to this day, and it fits on. And about a year ago, I glued it onto it because I wanted it complete. And literally the second I looked at it, I was like, nope. No, that comes off. So I have managed to keep this stupid little bit of tail.
So how did you manage to keep?
I'm like Christopher Walken. I've worn this watch up my ass. I've had this blue tail for 51 years. Just that.
So did you have a container that you kept it in? A bag that you kept it in?
No.
Like how did you keep track of a tiny tail?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know. I have no recollection of me taking this to my marital home. I don't remember bringing it here. I have a feeling it just followed me.
Where did it reside? Like in each of the, you recall, would it always go on a desk? Would it always just go in a drawer?
I don't know. I honestly cannot remember. It's always just been there. It's always just been in a Detolf or somewhere.
Have you found the complete set of those, or who manufactured them, or what the story is behind them?
No, I haven't. I don't know if they did other colors. I have no idea.
And does it have any maker's mark or anything on it?
Not that I can see. I can't even see anything. No, I have to look at it. It's one of those ones that I've it's just been there. It's like looking at my little finger. I'm just like, well, I don't.
Did you name it?
I don't do anything with that, and I don't really care much about it. But it's just always been there. He's followed me around.
Did you give him a name?
No, Blue Dog. Just Blue Dog. You asked my mum, what do I call that? She goes, oh, it's just Blue Dog.
And are you a dog person? I know you have a cat, right?
Yeah. I hate them. I hate dogs. They're constantly sniffing up your crotch and you have to pick up their poop. Cats I like, and you can't leave them alone. Yeah, I like cats. I like cats more.
Yeah, you like the only child of the animal world.
Yeah, I like treating my animals like I was treated, just left on my own, and I don't die. And you can leave a little bit of food, and I'll survive for a few days.
But ultimately, first and foremost, you were a dog person. Then you were a blue dog person.
I was a blue dog person. We had a couple of dogs. I had Henry as a dog, and I had Duke. But then I had cats. We had a cat called Poops. It was called Boots because it was black with white boots. But I couldn't say Boots. I went Poops. So all my cats. We always, whenever we had a cat, we had two. It was the same color, and they were both called Poops. Poops and Poops too.
So it was a real Simpsons moment.
Yeah. So there we are. That's it. That's all I got.
So when you're talking about the collection right now, like where does Blue Dog reside? So this is your ultimate.
Blue Dog resides on my actually resides in my Sesame Street shelf. Yes. Was it there? Yes. He moves around a bit. I've got him in Sesame Street because he's with my Weeble. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's with my Weebles. I love Weebles. I love Weebles. So I have them with my Weebles, which are with my Sesame.
Were Weebles like the ultimate fidget toy?
Yeah, they're brilliant. I love the design of Weebles. I love the artwork. So he sits in with that. But sometimes he'll move across to my 70s. I have like my Wombles, my Sesame Street, more Sesame Street. I have Magic Roundabout album, which was almost one that came out as an honorable mention. It has a moment. It's Magic Roundabout, Dougal and the Blue Cat. It was a feature length Magic the Gathering. Magic Roundabout feature film, stop animation. And there's a moment in it where Dougal says, I think it's Dougal, was it? Ermintrude says, and from the factory in the distance, I heard a strange noise. And it goes, ooh, what was that? And as a kid, I used to shit myself. I used to run and turn the record off because I didn't like that. So if any of you ever get to listen to Dougal and the Blue Cat or watch it, that sound is terrifying.
My only request now is when you have my number in your phone, that is the ringtone you assign to it.
I must find it and record it and play
I'm sure someone's put it on you. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Someone's got it.
Yeah. But yeah, Dougal and the Blue Cat. Which is weird because I had a blue dog. That's weird, isn't it? I never thought of that. Yeah, I had a blue dog.
This is why we have these conversations.
There you go. Yeah.
So, are there any lines that you have that are sort of tickling the periphery of ones that or objects that are like, I'm close to being interested enough to dive into it?
Cool. What was I thinking about the other day? I started getting into the black hole, but I've got a few of those now. I just can't afford old Bob. It's too expensive. I'm digging out my Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, as we know, for my Mr. Stevie's Tall Toy Tales, but I had those. No, not at the moment. Nothing that I can go, oh, I'm going to get into that. Like nothing. I'm finding stuff like from Kenner, like I'd never heard of Shadow Strikers. Like I did a thing on Shadow Strikers. I like discovering these old 90s or early 2000s or late 80s stuff when I was too old for toys that I'd missed. So I'm kind of interested in looking at those, but I don't think I'll collect them. But I like picking up I'll spend $50 just gathering a few pieces just to look at it, just from a historical reference point of view. And
I mean, is there like a sort of product library at Hasbro that allows you to look back over the course of their entire history? Does that exist internally? Research?
We have an archive. It's a bit of a stretch to get to it, but we're looking at that at the moment. And but people have offices. Like it's just stuff everywhere.
Are there things that you are surprised by that were released in the lines you worked on that you never knew about that are just existing or short-lived things that are like, do you ever run across a thing like, here's a novelty action or something that was in a toy line that you think, I don't know why that never took off at the time, but I'm going to poach for this line that we're putting out, because that's still a fun thing.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. You'll find things like most recently, I was probably looking at like episode 2, the Jedi flips, the little things you flip over and they land magnetic, which when it hits and lands is a beautiful feeling. It's like oh, but it's difficult. Okay.
But that's just the bottle flipping game then at that point. Then you're just like, how many times does it take to get it to land?
Yeah. But always looking out for new things. There's nothing, there are new things, but like there's nothing wrong with looking back to look forward. So we often dig up stuff. It's interesting seeing like, Lego Smart Brick, and I think Playmobil have just brought out Playmobil High, where it's like little RFID tags and things activating sounds, and I was like, yeah, we did that on Force Link. We did that. We've already done that. It was this big thing like it. But it's like, so things inspire, things evolve, things change and kind of refine.
But it's fun when those sort of objects also, bringing up the Force Link thing, but I remember it was like a wrist thing that wasn't really rooted in anything that was on screen. But I remember the Contact was based on that Jedi communicator, so it felt like you almost had a prop replica with that play feature.
Yeah,
as that additional object, or like the macro binoculars for the slide viewer?
Yes. Yeah. That's where I fell down. I didn't think, hey, we should make that look like something. Originally, it was like we wanted it as small as possible, but there you go. That's my thing. I was like, hey, what if I want something that you wear that brings everything to life that you touch? It was like the Interact Tech Trooper. It's like Interact Tech Trooper, but for everything. That's what I want. I want everything to just go, which it did. Yeah, it's, as I say, if you don't try things out, you're not innovating. And if you're not innovating, if you're not failing and reiterating, then you're not doing anything new. So that's why I like those sort of like, what if we could do this? What if the AT-AT could walk? What if everything you picked up made a sound like you made in your head?
So what's then for you the most exciting thing about the job position that you're in right now? What's the thing that makes it exciting and interesting for you? Because it is sort of, from the outside, a somewhat nebulous sort of catch-all of a whole bunch of different aspects that play into this. Because you have also the social engagement and that sort of interaction that you're trying to build on that side, with more leaning into the theming and feeling that this is part of an overall fun event sort of thing to build up that excitement about the brands.
You just asked a question that's like picking your top 6 things. It's just like, I love the engagement. I love the storytelling. I love it when we can make like Return to Tatooine or Battle of Geonosis. I love the sort of, again, I'm not a product
But what's
guy.
the thing that's most different? Because you've done so many things in the past. What's the thing that makes this, in your mind, a unique that you didn't get to do?
I'm going to go back to it, and I do mean this. It's knowing I won't win. I can't win. It's what's the Star Trek thing? I've changed brands. Is it Tabanashi? What's that?
The Kobayashi, remember?
Kobayashi. It's the Kobayashi. It's like, I can't win. I can't.
It's a no-win scenario, Steve.
I can't win. Anything I do.
But he famously won that by cheating. So
I know.
How far are you going to take this?
I got to work it out. But it's like, but no, genuinely, it's like the area I'm in at the moment is so nuanced and
But here's the thing, and I'll put this to you in formulating this: is you say you can't win, but how are you defining the game? Because there's winning as far as other people's perception of what you're doing, and there's, do you feel that you're winning at what you're doing? How are you defining the game in that no-win?
I don't know. I don't define the game. I think the fans and the collectors are defining the game. And
but now I'm saying you're defining the game. What is winning to you in the game?
Every single fan and collector is content and has a sense of love in their heart for fellow collectors, for themselves, for their history, and for us. I want to be, and I so here's my mission. I genuinely want Hasbro to be the most trusted corporate community member in any community, in any collector community. And that's really difficult for a corporation to get. I think there are some that really can do well. I think Lego does incredible. That's my mission. I want everything. I want everyone to understand what we do and why we do it, and then I want everyone to love what we do when we do it and how we do it. And it just won't happen. It won't happen, and that's okay because that drives me to always try and do it. It's weird. I don't know if I'm describing it right. Like I don't give up on that. That actually drives me because it's like I'll take a little bit then. I'll get this right. Oh, Battle of Geonosis. If I can get that bit to work, and then someone goes, "Well, I would want this." I'm like, damn it! Yeah, I can't do that.
But I also think that that's what's wonderful and fascinating about what you're trying to do with your channel in lifting the veil on process, because I think so much of people's disappointment stems out of an ignorance, and I'm not using that as a pejorative term. I'm just saying it as ignorance as a lack of information, a lack of knowledge about a thing, about how these things work, how these processes work, and what it takes to get to the point of them holding a thing in their hands.
Yeah.
And I think so much of people's disappointment or an inability to allow for grace in those processes is not understanding what is involved in that.
Yeah, and it's tricky because, like, I try and talk as broadly as possible. Like the timeline things, it's like it's not just toys; it's anything. It's just like I'm not able to talk about the Hasbro process and the Hasbro ins and outs.
But there are generalities of physical manufacturing that are necessary.
And I try and simplify it down to a point where you can kind of get it. It's like, we plan these things in advance, so we don't know if anything's successful until we've done it. But then by the time we've done it, we've had to plan the one after it. So it's just like...
Well, and again, people remember the toy lines that they loved as children or that had staying power. But, when us talking about like the archives of any given company, there are so many failed toy lines.
Of course,
that never took off.
Yeah, of course,
that were not successful. That were iterated and tried and abandoned because
it's like there's a lot of love for like Marvel Legends Retro 375. It's like, why did that end so soon? I was like, there's 50 figures. That's a lot. There's not many toy lines.
But that also is a validation of the toy line.
Yeah.
That it has stuck with people. People appreciated it.
Yeah.
And as we've seen with all of these things, sometimes an end isn't an end forever.
Yeah.
So who knows what anything could happen with any of these.
Yeah.
The existence of the vintage collection is an example of that.
It went away, came back.
But I will say, and I love the vintage collection, and I certainly love people's enthusiasm for it to the point of over enthusiasm for it. But I've been opening stuff recently that I've just never got around to opening. And so I've been going through a lot of the old packaging, and I'm going through the 30th anniversary line.
Yeah.
And realizing that form, like this basic size of that is still the card back size. It's just the cutout on it.
Yeah.
But that unique a design, and what that unique a design is, may something that we may not see again with the collector line, because the collector line and the collectors who support it are so focused on sticking with.
I took a corner off.
If you nicked a couple of corners off and had a cutout into it, and the artwork being different, and having the a bubble that this.
But like so. Yeah.
And a coin slot over to the side. And
it interests me. These impossible things. I don't know. I'm like, how? So my thing on that is like, how do I do that so people do like it? How do I do that in a way that's authentic, that people would accept it and enjoy it? So.
And weird. I miss, I would love a deep dive on something that, because it was such a weird when you talk about story building. and the world building of it, that there were so many complementary figures in that line.
Oh, it was a big
I was opening up the R2 that has the exhaust, the flame effects, and it says, well, this goes with the on fire destroyer droid. That's this number that's also available as a sticker that's on the thing going, oh, there's a companion figure to complete this scene that exists within this.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's a cool line. I think that's the sort of I would suggest it's a standard bearer of like a line within that. Everyone talks
and maybe like the last of that, sadly. Like it seems like it's almost like a demarcation point of like this may be the last time you see like pack-ins like that or collector coins. Like, can you think of a line? Like, I do love I will give you a lot of praise for bringing back checklists. Like the checklist you've been producing for the lines, because it's a fun to see an overview like that.
Yeah.
But also to be in a line that is not finite at this point.
Yeah.
Which means it's ever evolving, but to have something, I mean, that's the one thing about those collector coins, and they fudged it, obviously, so my example is already undermined, is you had a book. You could collect those coins, and you could put them in their slots in the book as another thing to fill out as part of it.
Yeah.
Having that sort of checklist, like there's a psychological thing of working towards something. And I think that's the thing that was sort of missing for a bit in a lot of lines in a lot of different companies, is it was all amorphous. You didn't get a sense of what was part of anything. Like everything existed in this void of just, here's a new thing. But where does it fit in?
And it's, certainly with the collectors, there's a balance to strike between allowing the community to do it themselves and curate themselves. Because they go off and they create it themselves. It's like that's where I struggle a little bit, and I'm just going to be a little bit of a time cock because I've got to go and make dinner. I can hear my wife calling me or moaning about me. So this is going to be my last statement.
This is the third time we've done this, so we clearly could keep talking.
It's how much. So I talk about wanting to be the most, aiming towards to be the most trusted corporate community member. That's my North Star. But it's like, how do we share it? Like, because I can't come in, I don't think it's right to come in and sort of dictate everything and have everything laid out for people, because that's why HasLabs works so well. HasLabs worked well at the beginning, especially the barge. People created their own posters, their own campaigns, their own graphics, their own hats and badges and things. Like, I don't want to get in the way of that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be in the way. Remember, I'm the conductor. Right. I don't want to get in and play every instrument for people, because now the community is part of this process, whether they like it or whether we like it or not. Sometimes it works brilliantly, sometimes it isn't. It's confrontational, and it's like, that's fine. It's just the way things work. So I'm always struggling and theorizing about, well, should we do a proper checklist? But then, does that stop people doing the checks? Do they lose ownership? Do they feel then we're then spoon feeding things to them or dictating? I don't want that. So I want everything we do to be authentic and part of something else. I don't know whether I'm explaining that right, but it's a weird relationship, which I feel is quite a relatively new dynamic within product, and it's clearly one that's being noticed, and there's lots of other companies doing it and things, and so that's my continual mission, is just to sort of work out the right balance of partnership with the community if they'll have us in certain areas, because sometimes they want us in certain areas, sometimes they don't want us in certain areas, and I respect that. Sometimes we want you in a certain area, and sometimes we don't want you in a certain area, or we don't need you. And it is essentially marriage.
Right.
We will love each other.
But doesn't it all just come down to communication?
Yeah,
as much as possible.
That is why I talk a lot.
And that is the engagement that you have been building.
It's the root of it. I mention it so often. It's like, it's just communication. It's just,
because again, you leave an information void, and people will fill in their own details as well.
They're not consumers. They don't buy and go away. You guys don't buy and go away. You guys buy and you stay, and you want to know why, and you demand why, and then you want to input and have ideas and have opinions. And some things are informed, some things aren't informed, and no fault. But it's a constant swirl of opinions and desires and things, which is incredibly rich and incredibly insightful and incredibly exciting and stressful and frightening and everything. But again, it's marriage. That's marriage. It really is. And I have people go, oh, yeah. But that's how I look at it.
And then Steve bounds in with a I Love You 3000 figure full of enthusiasm and then runs out.
Yeah, what do you think? I love it. I hate it. I know. Don't you? It's great.
But you know what? There's so many other things you all could choose. So
yeah. So anyway.
Well, this has been, as always, a delight to have you on. Hopefully you've enjoyed the conversation.
I have. It's been very insightful. Thank you.
I'm sure there'll be a few things to think about afterwards.
Yeah. There is. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Again, just it's always good. You're very clever at asking the right questions, which obviously you should have practice at doing that by now. So it's nice to see a master at work.
It's always perfect when it's when you're actually recording while it's going. Well,
that helps.
Questions are being asked as well. So everyone should go find you. You're on Instagram. Hopefully you'll establish a presence on Blue Sky at some point so people can follow you there. I think there's someone sitting on your handle. Is that you? Did you register your
Blue
handle
Sky?
on there?
I don't know what Blue Sky is. What's Blue Sky?
No.
Is that what we're going to be on?
I guess you should investigate it.
I have heard of it. I don't think I've looked at it.
But everyone should go follow but mainly go check out the YouTube channel. There's a lot of great videos on there. You've been doing a lot more recently, so your continued commitment to it. Hopefully
that takes a long time to grow that one. I got like 30,000 on Instagram, like 3. I've just hit 3 on YouTube, so like 10%. That's all right. That's okay.
All the videos are fascinating.
Thank you. I do. I do it for
and you're
them. I do it for me.
Fun.
I do it for my kids.
They're fun. You're so enthusiastic. Let's just reward Steve's energy level.
I'm knackered now. I'm going to go and just sit in a room. I'm going to have to go upstairs now and talk to Helen. She's going to be like, what have you done this? Blah, blah, blah. We've got to get dinner. And I'm like,
And you're like, you'll see the video later. You'll understand. It'll all make sense.
You won't watch it. Don't worry.
Well, you know what? It's all my fault. You can put it all on me. I did this.
Ken talks too much.
That'll be the show that you can guest on. That'll be the next one.
Right.
If everyone has enjoyed this, please consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/Ken Plume. At even the $1 level, you'll get access to all of my exclusive. There's a ton of interviews up there. I'm putting up a lot of archive stuff. There's a piece with Ian McKellen went up. There's a piece with Richard Donner that went up that I did. There's these big, massive career comprehensive interviews that I did with folks. That's all being added to the archives. That's only possible if you support it. So if you do, please consider going over there. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, that'd be swell. You could do that. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram. All those links you can find below. You can get all that stuff. So this is the awkward part where I say thank you again to Steve. And we just do the wave while I look for the button that makes it stop. And I'll talk to you all soon. So... Looking for the button, and I'm pressing stop. Here we go.